Holy, okay. Sorry about that. We're here. I've been away a bit for a handful of reasons. One is I wasn't feeling particularly motivated to stream, but also I have been busy as well. I haven't really played a ton. Just been busy. I have a vacation coming up next week, so getting a lot of things ready for that, etc. Takes precedent over everything else. But there is a tournament coming up tomorrow, which I will be streaming presumably all day Saturday, and hopefully a little bit on Sunday as well, depending upon how we do. So I have not played any additional regular ranked games. We're still keeping the same track that we had before. So this is, I didn't actually put the right day. It's day 7. Because we're silly and put the wrong one. But that's okay. Okay, so basically what has happened since we were here last is the Pixelborn rank was reset. We were at about 210 out of 600 for rank 5. So one of the reasons that we delayed playing further is the way that the reset works is it puts you back to 0 of whatever for level 5 of whatever rank you're in. We were in Platinum, like basically right at the beginning of Platinum, just a tiny bit in, like 1 or 2 games. And it didn't make sense because I knew that I didn't have enough time in the week to grind out to Diamond to try and do that before the reset, basically. Like, I was going to be too busy during the week to get on and play enough games to be able to guarantee that I could get to Diamond. And if we ground up to, like, Plat 1 and then ran out of time, that's pretty useless for the grind, right? It kind of kills the whole momentum that we've had up to this point for the 120 games. So we took a loss of 200 points just so that we didn't have to take a bigger loss. I have been testing a little bit of various dime lists because I'm sort of moving a little bit away from red-purple, at least for tournament. I'm trying some other stuff. So I've been trying a few different dime lists. The one that I am currently pretty happy with, I think, is this. I've played it a few times on hardcore and done okay with it. I have had some other lists that were not quite as good. This was one where I was trying Robin Hood. This is one where we were trying a little bit of everything, and it really just lost a bit of the cohesion that I think it maybe needs. And then we've gotten to the point where we're at now, which I'm relatively happy with, I think. Beast is kind of the only one that I am maybe coping a little bit on to still keep it around, because it's really not in a great spot in the metagame right now. It's good against random nonsense, but it's pretty bad against most of the meta decks currently. Whereas something like Beast Hardheaded, being able to destroy an item and be a 4/4 is a little bit better. So our item destruction package is we have the 1 Benja and the 2 Beasts, so that we can play an extra Beast. If we cut this, it's probably just to add Benja here. We got the 4 Bells, the Fishbone Quill, and the Mickey Mouse. Bell is sort of a double duty. Sometimes it's ramp, especially when you have Whole New World. Other times it is a win condition just with Lucky Dime, or even just closing out the game really quickly because it quests for 5 a lot in this deck. Cerberus is a 5/6 for 5. If we ramp into Cerberus and play this on turn 4, there are not really any cards that any of the decks play outside of specifically Dragonfire that can favorably interact with this, where it's not just a trade if we sing, right? Maui can trade with it 1 for 1. You can, like, Tremaine it on 6. If I have nothing else on the board, you can Dragonfire it or whatever. You can Crab plus hit into it. But as far as just like a clean 1 for 1 answer, like Medusa doesn't deal with it. Maui trades, so they don't get to keep their Maui around. We're trying Cerberus, right, as a just another big thing that we can run out where Beast just dies a lot. You know, if they play Maui after you sing with Beast to Whole New World, it just dies. And then they have 2 health left in their Maui. Like, everything is miserable then. But we're gonna battle a little bit of games. We're gonna see if we want to make any changes to the deck before we submit it for tomorrow. And then we will just play in the event tomorrow. And then I'll see how much more I can stream before I go on my little trip. And then when I come back, we should be able to stream quite a bit more before the store championships. I would like to be able to get to GM before then. Oh, we're battling Wonderland as our first game. Interesting. So this is not super valuable here. A lot of these cards are pretty awkward in this. I honestly am considering just a full send. So that we can try and find like a Mickey Mouse. Could keep Benja just to destroy. Well, we're going second. I think I'm going to full send. Not usually what I love doing, but our hand was pretty bad. This hand is also pretty bad. But we'll see what the items... And the Smees are actually okay here. I can run this out, given that our opponent played Queen. If they shift Queen, they can Listro it, which is a bit annoying. The alternative is that I Popsicle, probably. Tink is good, but we don't really have any ramps, so we can probably get rid of one of them. I honestly don't know about the Captain Hook. So, if our opponent specifically Queen Whole New Worlds us, they Whole New World us. Like, our hand kind of sucks anyway. I think I'm going to run out of Popsicle, pass, and then we're just going to slam a bunch of Smees, I think, into what our opponent is doing, and see where we end up after that. Luckily, if they Bare Necessities us, it doesn't do anything because our hand is bad. Yeah, so this is a world where maybe we should have had the Captain Hook out. But I think the way that it looks right now is we're going to get rid of one of these Popsicles, because we have an extra one anyway. I'm going to play a Smee, and then next turn I may just play Smee plus a Captain Hook. We'll see what we draw, of course, but getting more bodies on the board certainly is something that I'm interested in here. Smee does threaten the Queen same way that the Captain Hook does, but it doesn't die to a single Let the Storm Rage on, which I think is important here. If they make this play and we have the Hook in play, and then they just get to sing, kill it, and draw a card, that's generally going to be pretty bad for us, I would think. So they play on an Aerial. They could Whole New World this turn. No, Strength of the Raging Fire. So they likely will not use that this turn, but they could use it the turn following. We do have a Whole New World, which we likely are not going to be able to cast for a while. It's possible that I'm supposed to just get rid of this Smee so that we can keep the Popsicle and then just run these 2 out. I think that seems fine. So let's get rid of Smee, run out of Smee and a Captain Hook, and then pass. Questing doesn't make any sense here because they can just quest with the Queen, buff the Aerial. It's possible that we're supposed to just make them do that to kill the Smee, because then it taps the rest of their things, and then we can fight back, but it's kind of hard to say. Double Swords is really bad for us here, or even just Swords plus Let the Storm Rage on is not great. Because then we're only able to really deal with one of their cards. We would obviously kill the Queen over anything else. So benching the Popsicle is fine. It's like mildly annoying, but it doesn't really matter that much. The way that we're winning this game is not necessarily with just Flabbersham, but they needed to play a creature so that they could actually take out one of our cards. So that makes sense. So they opt to lose their Aerial here kind of for free. Hey, USG Delivery. Thanks for the follow. I don't mind leading into Cerberus. let's play the Popsicle and see where this leaves us. Beast has some merit. They haven't played any items so far, though, so I think we're going to get rid of the Beast. I'd rather play Cerberus between those two. So get rid of the Beast. I think we're going to Smee here. And then Popsicle it. And then just pass. And then if they decide to do the play where they quest with this, hit here, that's fine. I suspected that they might have let the Storm Rage on, which means this ends up being a bit of a beating for us. But we will be able to get the Cerberus down to hopefully clean up a little bit following. This was a bit of a blowout, though. I was a little afraid of that. I had considered just using the Captain Hook to trade and keep the Smee back. Okay, so I have a few options. I think no matter what I do, I have to play Cerberus this turn. I'm just debating if I keep the Quill for post Whole New World. I don't really know if I have that luxury is the problem. Because we're on a pretty fast clock. They're going to hit us down to 8. And I would have to get rid of Tinkerbell, and I feel like Tinkerbell is probably a little bit stronger as something that I may want to play next turn anyway. This, in theory, may hold back their cards. If they don't specifically have something that blows up our board, this could go okay. Yeah, Wonder's playing offline. That's not that surprising. So we did find a Swords, but unfortunately we can't also ink to do Tink Swords, which is pretty rough. That is a bit of a beating here, actually. Tink Swords would have been very strong here, I think. Obviously, because it kills everything. You know, that just makes sense. I can't really attack because of the Queen. This was one of the reasons that I had considered keeping the Quill, actually, but... Okay, so let's ink Tinkerbell. I feel like we're supposed to do both of these this turn. And then just have whatever we get after the wheel. So that's what we're going to do. Not a great run out, but we do have Cogsworth, which is generally a pretty good card. And we can, in theory, clean up the board a little bit with this Swords as well. Cogsworth would have been nice to have in play now, not later. If we lose Swords, it doesn't particularly matter. Like, it's a little annoying, but the Benja has to trade with the Cerberus, even with the Queen buff. Like, it still just trades. So they'll be down to just Queen and Ariel in play. Which is obviously still good, but I think we can run out Cogsworth. We can get to 8 if we play Belle. Okay, so they are playing the flute version. They decide to play Cindy, which means that they probably have one in their hand. There's a world where we can just Tinkerbell here. Because it takes out the queen, which I don't hate. And we can save Let It Go to deal with a shifted, which I don't hate. So let's get rid of the Flabbersham. I would have liked to have played Cogsworth this turn, but we just like can't afford it. But we can maybe next turn do Bell plus Cogsworth. So let's do this. A pretty good rip off the top for us because it takes out the queen, leaves them just with Cindy's. And it does give us a decent avenue to attack what they're doing if any of these are tapped because of just the Tinkerbell. And then we can follow it up with the Bell. Okay, so they opt to Whole New World. That's fine. I'm probably going to Hard-Headed plus Quill next turn unless we draw something better. The Quill to give us additional resources so we can just play more things per turn. Okay, guess we lose our Quill here, that's fine. Not too concerned about bare necessities in this spot. Another Tinkerbell would be good, sort of off the top, just to clean up the board. So they took Rise of the Titans, which I don't really care about. Honestly, I would rather have the Quill, but that means that they probably have another Benja in their hand. Or maybe they just aren't worrying about the Quill here. And I actually think that it's pretty good. So we do have this Whole New World. We'll likely try to use this in a few turns. But we definitely don't need to use it right now. So I think I'm going to play this. We're going to ink this Mickey Mouse. And I think I'm just going to ink Beast because we really don't need the Beast here. Or at least that one. And then I want to play the Hard-Headed and just kill the Sleepy Flute. And then I think just pass. Why would I pass when I could quest? I think I can quest here. Because if they could have killed the Tinkerbell, they probably would have anyway. So if we get to untap with what we have right now, with these cards plus the Quill, like if they don't really do much to the board, which this is fine. I don't love this, but it could be worse for us. But we'll see, they might Whole New World us. We do have answers to this. Okay, so they did have another Benja, so that was their line. 3 Benjas. Good lord. That's so many. So they decided to sing on the Tinkerbell. Which is an interesting choice. Okay, so what are our options here? The Cinderella is pretty brutal. We can find more Let It Go. I think relatively easy enough. But that does put them above us on ink, which is pretty annoying. This is obviously not it. It could be that we play Gaston Mr. Smee this turn. Let's maybe lead with Gaston. That is unfortunate. Those are really bad. Okay, maybe we don't play Mr. Smee then. We just run out Mickey here. So we can't actually kill this, right? Because we're only hitting it for 3. Or 2, rather. Which takes it to 3. I don't think Whole New Worlding this turn makes sense. I think we just have to do this and pass. We are going to have to do something next turn. Probably finding a Grab Your Swords. It looks like we're not in a great spot this game, though. Robin Hood is also pretty bad for us. Strength of the Raging Fire to kill the Gaston. And then Beast gets killed here as well. Yeah, I guess we lose. The double Bare Necessity rips ended up being pretty bad for us. And my decision to go with the Cogs... Why didn't they just attack this? That's a weird choice. That was a weird choice. I don't know why they cast Zeus there. It seemed unnecessary. Maybe they didn't want Cinderella to be at 3 to play around Zeus, I guess. Would be the only thing that makes a lot of sense there. Yeah, I don't really know how we're winning this from here. Are we just dead? We're basically just dead on board, right? I don't really necessarily see how we win this. They can just go to 17 and then kill us. But such is life, sometimes you lose. I do think that we navigated the game wrong. I specifically said that the only reason that they would have let us keep the Quill there is if they had another Benja. So the third Benja ended up being basically what cost this for us. Is there a world where I don't lose this? Here. Dealing 1 damage doesn't do anything. I have 2 Let It Goes left in the deck. Total. With 12, I don't think that there's a way that I can win this here. So it'd have to be Swords, plus Let It Go, plus I hit here, and then they go to 1, but then we've just given them like 10 new cards. Sure. Okay, you got me. I think I played that game wrong, or badly, I guess. Luckily, we don't really lose any points for it, so it doesn't really matter, but I don't think that I navigated that game very well. I think knowing that they likely have the extra Benja there, I think I can just play Mickey instead of the Quill in that same spot. Like, we make the same play, but then the Benja's worse for them. But that's why we're testing today instead of tomorrow, right? So that we can figure out these mistakes before we go too deep into it. So I go first. I was also on the draw that game, which is something of note. So I don't really have any ramp here. I don't mind Whole New World, but we don't necessarily need it this early. I would rather have some ramp, I think. And we don't necessarily need Bell. Maybe something like this. I don't mind the Cerberus in this matchup as a turn 4 play. Yeah, this is alright. So I'm actually going to get rid of Bell this early in favor of potentially keeping both of these popsicles, rather. Because I'd like to run out this Smee next turn, and then probably... Well, we're going to likely run out Mickey before the hook, but there's a world where we draw into something where we don't really necessarily want to use this hook. Yeah, whatever. Let's just get rid of it. I don't know what I was talking about with the hook. It's whatever. We're going to play Mickey. Jesus, okay. We got triple popsicle over here. Pretty good for our opponents. We have ripped a lot of uninkables. So I'd like to keep the Benja. Let's go ahead and do this, and then attack with Smee and pass. So one reason to keep the Captain Hook is so that your Smee doesn't take damage. If we actually had a Quill, I likely was more interested in keeping the Captain Hook, because then this turn we could have quested with Smee, played the Quill, and also played the Captain Hook, so then this would not have damage on it, so then a Queen play here doesn't actually do anything. You gonna Judy my popsicle? No, one of your own, I imagine. Judy's our popsicle. Sure. I'm not really sure that that matters to me that much. But, okay. I guess we'll get rid of Captain Hook here. Just play Cerberus and then Quest. And if they want to trade their Judy Hops with my Smee, I think that's fine. We may try to keep the Tamatoa if we can, but I'm fine getting rid of it. Looking at Cerberus with 4, which means there's nothing that they can actually do to deal with it this turn. We could also just Benja one other things, but I think I'd rather just play Gaston. Yeah, that's fine. We could also just Whole New World after they just Flavershammed, which I'm kind of interested in, actually. It does lose us one of our lucky dimes. But this is kind of the turn to do it, right? Maybe we play Gaston first? It's a little awkward. Like, what do we actually want here? We want more ramp for ourselves. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to get rid of this Benja. I don't really care how many cards they have at this point. It's kind of past the point of that mattering. I think what we're going to do is we're just going to Cerberus sing this. And then we're going to be able to play Gaston now. Feels a little bit better. And we can pick up something. Probably, we've already lost several of our popsicles. I don't know if we need more Cogsworth or Tinkers. It's probably just Flaversham here. Not that we necessarily need it, but I would rather just have a Flaversham than not. And then we're sort of in a spot where because they don't have ramp, and we have had the Mickey, and we were on the play, that we can kind of just try to race them down. But we'll see. They play a Quill here, which will likely kill. Obviously, we don't want them to turbo ramp out. We can kill the Flaversham with these two. Baby Gaston, I see. I don't know if I actually care about Gaston at all. It does fuck with this one, which is kind of annoying. But I don't know how much I actually care about it. I would like to get this down and start doing stuff with it, probably, so that we can get to this bell plus the dime at some point. I could also just play Tink, but I think what I'd like to do is play these two this turn. Most likely. I could also play Bell, right? Because this is 2... this would be 3, so that puts us at 5. And then we can go up to, like, 9. We have to get rid of, like, most of our Tinkers, but I think we can do all of that. It does make Be Prepared a lot better, so maybe we don't care that much about it. Okay, so we're going to play Fishbone Quill first, and we're just going to Rise of the Titans this. Yeah, I think I'm fine doing what I thought I was going to do. Do this and this. We'll quest here. Quest here. We'll ink a Tinkerbell and a Cogsworth. And then pass. So now A Whole New World is still good off the top for us because our opponent isn't really able to ramp a ton. If they want to play another Flaversham, I think that's fine. Because we can develop either the dime or the bell. Likely the dime, since they probably only have like 2 Judies and they've already used one. I don't know how many Judies that they're running these days, but they do that to keep the Gaston around. That's interesting. Oh, I see. They're looking to just pay for it. I don't know if I care that much about that. I mean, if they're looking to, like, Maui and kill the Cerberus... No, they just want to Flaversham. Okay. I mean, they're just drawing a bunch of cards. Which I guess is fine. We can go to 11 here. We, like, dime this. It's not the most exciting. I would almost rather do this and then play Flaversham. Grab your sword and a Smee. I have to assume that they have Be Prepared soon-ish. If not right now. Definitely feel like requesting here. I would like to ink, so it's probably just ink Smee, play Tinkerbell, and then pass. So world where we just play Smee. But I feel like the Tinkerbell and the Smee are like almost identical as far as functionality here. And this gets us to the ability, or very close to the ability, of just playing dime plus bell in the same turn. Alright, that is all your popsicles. The top half. Still not much ramp from our opponent, so we're in an okay position on that front. Okay, so they ripped a Maui, so they're going to trade it here. That's fine. That's essentially their whole turn, and they can't really use Flaversham here. Unless they're okay with losing it, I guess. Which I guess they are. I maybe don't even care. We'll see. We go to 13. We can go to 15, and then that makes Bell just lethal. I suspect that that is probably better than worrying about this stupid Flaversham, huh? Just do this. Dime. Dime the bell. Pass. Or sorry, dime this Tinkerbell, not this bell. And like now if they do anything other than Judy here, they lose. Like Dragon, the Tinkerbell or whatever. Just doesn't matter. Has to exactly be Judy, which they could have. They have a lot of cards in their hand because they've Flavershammed so many of them. They're more than halfway through their deck here. There's one Judy here and there's no others, so it is still very possible. We did manage to get rid of 2 of the Tremaines already. I think that this Gaston is certainly interesting for the list that they're running. Maui is not Judy. They could Maui the Flaversham as well with the shield. Nice. All right, looks like we got him. This is one of the powers of something like Bell, or even Tamatoa to some extent, though Tamatoa doesn't have like the cost to lore density that Bell does in these spots. Alright, so that puts us at 90. Alright, we go again. Pretty good game overall. Alright, so we are against some sort of popsicles. Sorry, Mufasas, most likely. Quill's okay here. Cogsworth is okay here. We can maybe not worry too much about the Flavershams. Tinkerbell is probably more likely to come down on turn 4 for us. This is a good draw, actually, Captain Hook. So we don't need the Beast here. It's certainly not at its best in the red matchup. I think we'll just play the Hook and pass. Here we maybe could have popsicled because they haven't run anything out, but... And we actually have some lines to work with, even if they bare necessities us. Which we do like, of course. So we'll do this. I do like Bell, but I don't really feel like we have a ton of turns to play it yet. We can get Bell after the whole new world, I think. I think we'll just quest here. If they want to haste out something and kill the Captain Hook, then they do. It's fine. Mickey BLT. What a card. Alright, so in this spot, given what we have in our hand, I think my play is to get rid of Smee, play out the Quill, use the Quill on the Mickey Mouse. We'll just quest here and pass. And what we're looking to do is probably run out a Tinkerbell the next turn. And we may not even Whole New World for a few turns, actually. All I know is we're definitely running out some Tinkerbells, and that's sort of the plan. So I'm going to get rid of this dime this early here. Oh no, our hand is a disaster. Alright, it's fine. We'll do this and this. I would have ideally liked to not have to ink this Tinkerbell, but I do feel like playing a Tinkerbell is important here. We can just quest with Hook, it's fine. So, the reason that I feel like we have to play a Tinkerbell here is I need to get damage on these evasives so that in theory we can Whole New World into something like Swords to be able to sort of clean up the board a little bit. We'll see what they play on 5 here. If it's just Mufasa, that's fine. So I think my play... It's going to be difficult, but not impossible to race this. If we just play Gastons. I think I'm better off... Well, if we miss on the Swords, we probably just lose. Which is unfortunate, and we can still find the Swords off of the Gaston as well. I think I'm going to play Gaston. Awkward, but fine. We'll take the Captain Hook. I think we'll ink the other Gaston and we'll just play the Captain Hook here. And then I'm thinking that I just quest out to keep up with what they're doing rather than doing the Whole New World this turn. And if they want to use the Mufasa to attack a Captain Hook, that's fine. We can still go up to 13 with just what we have in play already, which is at a faster rate than what they currently are doing. So they're likely looking to Rapunzel here, which is fine. Yeah, that's okay. Them doing Rapunzel here certainly makes me want to use a Whole New World more than anything else, realistically. This puts them up to 6. We'll see what they do with this Mufasa. It's likely that they don't actually... Okay. They decide to just suicide their Mufasa. an interesting choice. So they get a Hades, which is tapped, which we can use the Popsicle plus the Tinkerbell to actually kill this and this. If I sacrifice the Popsicle here... Well, we don't have to make that choice just yet. What I can do is this. We can ink the Gaston. If I make this play, it does mean that we don't get to quest with Gaston, but maybe that's okay. I think that's okay for one round. I'm going to do this first to see if we actually need to make that play to begin with. Or if we have other lines that are then open to us, like an additional Tinkerbell, if that changes our board. It really kind of doesn't here. But we do have more options then. Because I can choose to kill the Rapunzel. I think we still deal with the flyers, though. But we can Cogsworth first, and our Tinkerbell will be even healthier, which I think is important. So I'm going to Cogsworth. And we can actually draw some additional card here with the Flaversham as well. Because I don't necessarily think that we need that Quill anymore. So let's do this. Oh my god, animations, come on. Are we just gonna lose it here? No, we got it. Okay, we're fine. Okay, so we'll do that. They lost 2 Chernabogs and a Be Prepared, so they do have Be Prepared in their deck. So it's something to be aware of, but they likely don't have too many. So they have Scar here, which can clean up 2 of our cards, which is a bit unfortunate. But it feels like we're still a little ahead, though obviously our questing board is a lot smaller. But because we have like the Let It Go, I feel like we have a world where we can add more to the board, still let it go, and then be in a pretty good position here. Because I can actually use these 2 to attack the Rapunzel. Let this go. Play the Tinkerbell. Do I have enough resources for all that? It's an awful lot of stuff that I'm saying that I'm going to be doing. This is 1... Or this is 3, 4, 5, so that kills that. And then we play, this is 11, so we'd have to sing on the Pongo, which maybe is okay. Because that would let us do something else as well. Sure. So let's do Let It Go here, here. We'll attack this and this. I don't super want to play into Be Prepared, so I don't really need to play Belle. Like, it would specifically have to be a second Be Prepared that even does anything to us if we play Belle, right? Yeah, I think that's maybe fine. Let's do this. So this puts us at 11 that we're gaining. Which puts them on a 2-turn clock, probably. They can very easily have an answer to Belle, which is fine. But they likely can't do 2 things as far as answers. Scar is a bit of a problem, so it does just get to kill our whole board. It's fucking annoying, but I don't think that that's that big of a problem. Especially considering that we can just gain 7. Maybe they'll Popsicle and try to heal their Scar. We'll see. See what they do. So we ripped a whole new world, which is pretty good. We've used, I believe, 2 of our Tinkerbells already, but none of our swords. So we should still have swords in the deck that we can use to kill the Scar. I would like to go up here, put us to 12. Okay, maybe we don't need Cogsworth. Should have played this Popsicle first if I was going to. Okay, I guess if this is what we draw, maybe we make an alternative line here. Let's do this. And then let's just let it go this thing. And then we'll just quest and pass. Because if our opponent is looking to do something like play a Medusa or a Maui, that is the majority of their turn. And I think that's maybe fine. Though we are close to losing because they're at 12 from the early evasives. I do think that they are going to be limited on their amount of spells that they have access to. So this is 1, 2, 3. So it's 17. We can just play these 2 then. That's probably fine. So then Maui likely trades with Tinkerbell. They may play something that kills Belle, but then we still have these 2, which I don't think that they can also deal with. Maybe they can. We'll see. Two Scars are gone. They can only really play a finite number of those. Oh, they kill Flaversham here. So they must have another one. Ah, they're looking to heal to draw. That makes sense. They're looking to find an answer to Belle, would be my assumption. Okay, Mufasa spins the wheel into a BLT, which does nothing. So we are now at the mercy of Be Prepared or Die, which looks likely to be probably nothing. Yeah, draw more cards. Sure. We will take that. Nice. Not too bad. So we go second. We're against blue-red again. We can keep Smee. I think we could send back the Whole New Worlds. We need some ramp, basically. So I think we ship everything but the Smee, probably. I don't mind Cerberus, but I think since we have the Smee already, I'd like to just dig deep and see if we can find something like a Quill here. Yeah, this hand is alright. It's not the most exciting thing I've ever seen, but it's passable here. There's a world where we do Hook into Smee, which I don't hate. I think we can get rid of Tamatoa. It's a little much here. We can also just play Popsicle into Smee. That's another line that I don't hate in this matchup. I think I'm going to do this instead. So we have a redundant Whole New World, which we can get rid of with the Quill. It's fine. Unfortunately, our opponent does get to ramp before we do. That's 2 Mauis already. Yeah, so they do have a Queen of Hearts, which is one of the reasons that we didn't run out the Smee to begin with. This is currently our only item destruction, so if they play a Quill, we don't really have an answer to it. If I opt to ink it. So I think what I'm going to do instead is just ink the Hook. That lets us potentially keep the Popsicle here as well. We'll play out the Smee and pass. There is value in keeping the Hook, so that, again, if we quest with the Smee and we go Quill plus Captain Hook the following turn... That is so weird. These Judy Hopps, like, dunking popsicles shit is so crazy to me. What are you doing? I do not recommend that as a strategy, if I'm being totally honest. That is, like... That is just not it for me. I think I can get rid of Belle. We can play the Quill. We can get rid of one of these. We can play the Popsicle, see what we draw. We rip another Quill. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this Queen of Hearts. And then we're going to use this Popsicle to heal the Smee. And then if they want to trade the Hops for the Smee, I think I'm okay with that. What color is this? We're playing Blue Steel. We have abandoned all hope, and we have jumped ship to a Whole New World, because if you can't beat them, join them, right? They just choose to quest with Judy Hopps. So their hand is all uninkables, unless they opt to ink here. So their hand is all uninkables. So we are likely not going to... Whole New World for a while yet. But I think I'm going to get rid of this. I want to get rid of this Hops and this Popsicle. Because if they rip a Flaversham, I want them to have nothing. Let's play this first and see what it draws us. Another Quill. Okay, we can get rid of the other Quill. That lets us keep these two. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to Rise of the Titans the Popsicle. I'm just going to trade here. And then play another Smee, I think. And now our opponent has 4 uninkables. They do get a Popsicle back, which is unfortunate for us. But they may have to ink it. I don't know. Oh, they did have a Flaversham, which is hilarious. So they'd opted to keep their Flaversham over inking it. Could just Whole New World them, but I think I would rather just play this. We could just Lucky Dime, too. Just to get a Lucky Diamond play. Nah, I think I would rather just play the Tinkerbell this turn. We're going to ink the Lucky Dime, I think. The first one. Just not worry too much about it. And then I'm going to quest with the Smee. And the reason that I'm doing this is my intention is, if they want to smash the Nick Wilde into our Smee, that's fine. But if they decide to play Flaversham here and draw with the Popsicle, then we're just going to Whole New World. And if they Medusa the Smee, that's fine. We'll probably also still Whole New World. But we'll see what they do with this Nick. I may just attack it and kill it, depending upon our draw. Rise of the Titans. We could just kill their Popsicle and then deal 2 damage to the Medusa here. Interesting. Alternatively, we ink this Whole New World. And then we have the ability to play other stuff, which I think is maybe better. Yeah, let's do that. There's just like so much better shit that we can be doing this turn than worrying too much about that. I would like to play this Gaston and probably this Smee, and then we'll just ink the Mickey. Yeah, I think another one is fine. Let's do something like this and pass. So our opponent is down 1 Be Prepared and 1 dime. They could be prepared this board. That's not unreasonable. Quest can go up to 8. Maui doesn't matter. With Maui, most likely what we're going to do is Tinkerbell. Probably Tinkerbell, Belle, Whole New World. And then kill most of what's on the board as well. Because I can Smee into the Medusa. I can do Smee here, Gaston here. The rest of their stuff is dead, and then we just Whole New World. We could also even play the Captain Hook, too, if we wanted. Yeah, let's do that. So let's play Belle. Ink this. Actually, I'm not going to play the Captain Hook. I'm just going to ink it. To give us more cards after the wheel. So let's do this. Kill their board. Actually, do I just quest for 5 and go to 7? I guess I don't actually even need a Whole New World, right? Just not give a shit about these? Just quest? Because we could sing here, but I don't even know if that matters. We'd certainly quest with the Gaston, I think. Make them trade their Medusa into it. I feel like I made an error. Somehow I thought I had the ability to sing this and also still do the attack. We could Smee the Medusa and then quest with Gaston. Yeah, that I think is better. Because then they have to do something else to actually clear the Gaston. And they are going to run out of Be Prepareds eventually. Yeah, just Medusa killing Belle is fine. Because that means that our Gaston lives, most likely. They would specifically have to have Queen. Yeah, Fishhook is fine. Okay, so we could choose to play another Gaston. Or we can just Whole New World here. I think we can just do this first. We can blow up their Fishhook with our Benja here. I don't think we need to draw cards with the Flaversham. I would rather do this. So let's Benja the, Fishhook. And then just quest out. Probably. Put us at 10, and then we're representing 10. They can kill one of these. But if they play a dragon or something, it doesn't necessarily clean up the rest of the board. Scar is a bit of a pain in the ass, being able to kill both of these. But that is their whole turn, and we are winning the race by quite a bit here. Yeah, I think we're winning the race reasonably well here. I don't know if I even play this Tinkerbell. I wonder if I just Whole New World. I think I'm going to just ink Tinkerbell and Whole New World. So the reason that we're Whole New Worlding here is if we find Dime, obviously it's very good for us here. But we can also find something like, for example, another Gaston, or something like a Belle that can just finish this here. I think, just play Gaston. We draw Beast Hard-Headed over the Cogsworth, I think. I will ink Cerberus here. I don't think I need to play the Captain Hook. I am just going to pass. That might have been a mistake, the way that I navigated that turn. Maybe I don't need a Whole New World there at all. But if their play is just be prepared, like, I think that's okay, because it doesn't necessarily forward their game plan against us either. That is a problem. A much bigger problem than I had anticipated. Especially if they just have another Be Prepared. I think all of our Titans are gone this game. Yeah, our 2 Titans were gone really early this game. So that could spell disaster for us, for sure. Well, this Grab Your Sword is useless, and so is this Let It Go. I think our play is just we gotta run out a bunch of shit, and then hope that it's good enough to win. Because otherwise we're just losing to this manner anyway. Yeah. Maybe I did make an error there in how I navigated those last couple turns. So our hand wasn't particularly good. And since I wasn't singing the Whole New World there, it was kind of mid, basically. So we're just on, like, Rip Dime or Lose. Oh, well, what if we just had it? Sick. Never didn't have it. Cool. Well, I do think that we navigated the game wrong. We did win in the end anyway, because Dime is awesome. We did have some other redraws as well. Another Whole New World was still in the deck, so that we could have looked at another 7 cards. And if you find Belle plus Dime, it ends up being good enough. So unfortunately we go second here, which is a bit of a disaster. We have a Quill, which is good, which we certainly want to keep. The Tinkerbell is kind of mid. We don't really need the Whole New World as much in this matchup. Cerberus is generally pretty okay on 5 in a lot of matchups, but what I'm looking for is realistically Cogsworth. Or earlier cards. This is fine. Not the most exciting draw. We can get rid of one of these Flavershems. And I'm not too worried about a single Captain Hook. It is a little annoying. Maybe we play this now just so that it can't battle us. Hey, Temptrance, how are you? Okay, so they do run out a Popsicle of their own. We found a Cogsworth, which is very good. We'll play a Popsicle. Thanks for the follow. I guess... So, what is our run out? We want to play the Fishbone Quill into Cogsworth, and then probably just the Gaston. So, am I just getting rid of Benja then? That does feel really bad in this matchup. If we get rid of Flaversham, that's like most of our draw, because we've already... That's 2 Flavershams then gone. Alright, I'm gonna get rid of Benja, because we have other Benjas, and then I'm gonna pass. We don't have other Benjas, we have other item destruction. And maybe we just can't worry too much about it. Because if they don't have it, then they don't have it. So, because we bricked on an Inkable, I guess I am going to get rid of the Flaversham then, to play the Quill. We'll do this, this, and then pass. And then our intention is to play a Cogsworth next turn. If our opponent blows up the Quill and we don't draw an Inkable... Yeah. I'm surprised that they decided to attack with Smee here. Yeah, I had worried about this. Like this exact sequence. I guess I just play Mickey and we wait a turn. It's fine. I don't love this though. We'll do this. This is one of the reasons that sometimes maybe you play the Mickey over the Cogs, but I think we'll just do this. We'll let them have the Captain Hook, I don't really care. And then we'll just run out of Cogsworth next turn. So they play Beast Hard-Headed, that's fine, I don't care. Okay, so here we'll play Cogsworth. And then I will ink the Smee and pass. So we are quite a bit ahead of them because we have the Cogsworth in play. It's like literally the most important card in this matchup. Bell is obviously good. They're pretty far from Bell really doing anything I care about, so I think what we're going to do is just play Gaston. And get another Cogsworth here. And then just pass. I don't think I ink. Like, I'm going to just try to get a really wide Cogsworth board and then use that to bully our opponent. If we have 2 Cogsworth in play, our Gaston can probably just swing. Flaversham is good for our opponent. Duck Manor to the bin. Manor would have actually been really good on this board. That surprises me. Okay, so they kill Gaston with the Zeus this turn. We are a little behind. Can I do Quill plus Cogsworth? I can, right? No, because I don't have another Inkable. Really unfortunate. I think I'm still just supposed to run out Cogsworth, though. And maybe we just ink this, go to 7. Nah, no shot, right? Like, we need a turn that we have an Inkable that we don't really care too much about. So that we can play Quill, maybe even getting rid of the Dime. Like, we don't necessarily need the Dime super early. But we're getting close to the point of being able to swords their board. unfortunate. I may end up having to Whole New World next turn. I just wish we had more ink. Like, we need to rip another Swords, basically. Okay, so it is a little all-in to do that. And if we don't find the Swords, we're in a really pretty crappy spot. But I don't see much of an alternative for us. So I play the Quill. I ink the Dime. I could play Flaversham and just draw 2 cards, but I don't think that gives us the highest chance of finding the Grab Your Swords. With the way that this board is right now, if I don't deal with it right this moment, I think we just lose. Because we've missed for too many turns and they've actually hit some things. So I think it does have to be, we get rid of this. And then I do Grab Your Sword here. And then I think I just cast Whole New World. No, I can just do it this way. It doesn't really matter. Ah, sick. We found all Whole New Worlds. Well, I guess we die. That's really unfortunate. It would have been fine not finding the Swords if we actually found a character. But without a character as well, it's like really bad. I don't know, dude. Our draw this game was abysmal. I don't know what to do here. I guess just quest and pass. Hello, quest? Hello? Okay, I guess not. Something is fucked up with the triggers. Obviously, I've been playing pretty slow because I'm talking through a lot of the stuff. But the Flaversham and the Gaston triggers are so slow right now. Like, there's an incredibly long delay on them, and I don't know why. I mean, they may not even kill this. They may just try to race, and they'll beat us very easily here. Because they can go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Like, literally, they can go to 18. Like, we may just lose to their board. And there's not much that I can do about it. They finally found a Quill. We do have double Quill, which is nice. Hopefully they choose to draw with the Quill. Oh, thank you. Okay, we have a shot then. Not a great shot, because they can still just dime us, but... we have a chance. For some reason, they decided to give us a chance. Okay, so we have to... We can't double Tinkerbell, because that doesn't actually deal with the problem here. Like, we have to let it go this and kill the rest of this with the Swords. But that does mean that we can play Bell, and then double Ink. So that we can actually win the game as well. Can we Ink, please? Ink again. Like, these animations are so slow now. I don't know why. So we do have to sing this. So we rip the Swords, but we still don't have an answer to the Gaston. Which is bad. Which I guess means that we're dead. I can dig down... This would be 3 cards. Gaston is also 3 cards, but this is 1 cheaper. But we don't have enough to do 5 plus the Yeah, we needed to let it go. Because we're going to be one short. So then I guess I just play Flaversham. Oh, we can do it with Flaversham, right? If it rips 2 and draws it. Yeah, like, look at this fucking trick. Like, what is happening? It's like 4 seconds just for Flaversham to pop up. Like, holy fuck. Okay, so we ripped it. Nice. Alright, so then that means we have to ink. We can ink a quill. We don't need a third, or another quill. We go, grab your sword with this. I mean, we still just lose to, like, dime and anything, right? We hit here. We let it go, this thing. We quest and pass. So we still may lose anyway, even through all of this. Unless we specifically rip... Oh, we can't rip double dime, because one of them's gone already. We might lose anyway. We'll see what they play. Like, we do have more Let It Goes in the deck, and we have ways of digging towards them. Basically, I needed this Flaversham to be this bell instead, and then we probably were okay. But we'll see what they play. If they just play guys, we maybe can get them with... do we even have any Tinkerbells left? I don't know, we'll see. Okay, well, that's a little too much stuff. I don't think we can get them even with the extra dime and the bell. Because we can get 17 this turn. But 17 isn't enough. We realistically don't need all of these Gastons, either way. Wait, is Tamatoa... How much is Tamatoa? 8... No, I wouldn't have I wouldn't be able to play enough, because it's 9 plus 8, which is too much. I think we're dead, but we may as well do this just to see what we draw. Another bell is not it. So this will gain 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That puts us at not enough, right? Tragic. Yeah, I probably needed to quest more a little earlier to keep up with what they were doing. Because as it stands, we don't really have enough interaction. I mean, we just bricked super hard in the early game, right? And then on our only turn to, like, do anything, we missed and had to dig extra, which allowed us, or didn't allow us to play an extra thing. Shame. Yeah, it could have been at 19 if the quest animation actually triggered, but that's still not enough, right? Yeah, alright, we lose. I think that was a me problem. Again, with the deck. More so than anything else. Like, mechanically, I'm not piloting the deck very well because I just don't have enough games on it. It's one of the reasons that I wanted to play today a little bit more. Because I definitely think that I had some space there where I probably just am supposed to quest instead of doing other stuff with our cards. Like when I had the Gastons or whatever in play. They're playing blue-purple. Beast is probably okay against blue-purple, right? Maybe we'll send Gaston back too. An interesting hand that we have. We're gonna do this to start. We could always play the Mickey Mouse out instead if we need more characters, but I suspect that we don't. And, like, I don't know if Mickey Mouse is just worse than One Jump Ahead. It might be. And I don't have, like, 100 games on this list and 100 games on a list that has One Jump Ahead to know, like, if this is just worse or better, you know, than One Jump Ahead. Like, One Jump Ahead, you can leverage Smee to turbo ahead. You can play them earlier than the Mickey Detectives. Like, is this body as a 1-3 better than just the cheaper cost on that? It's really hard to know. Well, I guess Quill just isn't it this game for us. If we want to actually play this beast, and I kind of think that I do. I think we play this. I'm debating if I want to keep this Smee back. I think I do for now. Probably not forever, but for right now, I think it's okay. This is a tempo matchup, obviously. And I don't care that much if they draw cards, but they are playing ramp as well, so... I think it is just Ink Tinkerbell, though Tink is okay in this matchup. I think it's Ink Tinkerbell, play the beast. I would actually like to cast this Lucky Dime, so I think if we rip an Inkable, I may just do this and then play this before I Whole New World. But we're not in a huge rush to Whole New World either. I can probably quest with Mickey. It's kind of free here. If they decide to Rafiki it, I just Smee it back, and that's fine. And if they Fox it or whatever, that's also fine. Yeah, they're just going to draw cards, which makes the Whole New World a little better. But obviously I don't necessarily want to just use Beast to do the Whole New World. Yeah, they just decide to do the Rafiki line. That's fine. We'll just Smee it. No biggie. Well, now the Whole New World looks way better. Though they did Popsicle, which is a little annoying. Okay, so we have some options. We can let them draw for one more turn, get a little bit more ramp down. And then we can still play the Lucky Dime. We can ink this and just play Gaston. We can play this, see what we hit, and then reevaluate. But if we don't rip an Inkable, it's really annoying. But if I ink this, then I definitely don't want to play the Mickey, because that's just trash. So let's do this. Okay, so that's a Bell, which we don't really need right here. Yeah, I am just going to do this then. And we'll hit here. And then pass. I want my Quill back. I have been aggressively mulliganing in this deck to try and hit the ramp, and I generally prefer doing the more conservative lines where I keep a lot of Inkables instead of getting rid of all of them. But you really can't afford to do that as much when you have all these ramp cards. It just makes me wonder if this just... Maybe the character doesn't matter here and One Jump Ahead is just better because of that. Like, as cost consideration specifically. I don't love that they're ramping more. But I don't know if they have any answer to Lucky Dime either. Like, in their deck. Interesting. Okay. So we have Tinkerbell, and we have Flaversham now. Okay, let's Flaversham first. That'll leave us with 4. Okay, that's interesting. So we get rid of this. We play Bell. We also get rid of this. So now we actually have some ramp. I think I can quest with Mickey. We hold back the beast. We pass. Now, there is a risk here that they play Elsa specifically. Elsa's probably the Nightmare card, because then they can use the crab plus a Mickey or whatever to, like, bully the beast. Oh, if it's just Yzma, I don't care. Sure. This is fine. Elsa was the worst case scenario here. If it's anything else, I'm not too worried about it. Like, we're ideally drawing into something that can clean up the board a little bit, so that we can actually quest a little bit more aggressively. Because maybe we don't even need to use the whole new world at all. Are they going to draw? They do. Okay. Alright, snaking the Yzma makes me want to use the whole new world a little bit more. So let's do this. Now, the debate here is whether or not I play the dime or whether I try to clean up the board first. Or just advance our board. So they're gaining 5 with what they have here. And they do have another Yzma. So I do feel like this is necessary. I'm just, do I play something before I do that, is the question. And I feel like the answer is it's either Gaston or no. Which then leads me to believe that it's just no. Okay. So I can basically play my whole hand here. I think we're going to quest the Flaversham and draw a few more cards before we make that choice. Okay, so we found another dime, so that's pretty good. So this is... oh my god, dude, the turns are so fucking short. Why? 1, 2... Holy fuck, dude, the turns are so short! Why? Maybe it's that the animations are long and the turns themselves are not short. I don't know. Great, we lose all of our bells because we couldn't also count to fucking grab your swords. I'm just so shit. What the fuck? Alright, buddy. You chill out. Like, you're saying some dumb shit, and it's kind of a waste of my effort to read it. Maybe they won't kill all the bells. But it does seem like they're going to probably smash these two into the bell. Which is not ideal. Which is a bit unfortunate. I definitely should have played the double Cogsworth instead of the double bell there. Like, your account is 3 days old. It's very weird. A lot about this is just very weird. So I can hit here. and then just swords and clean everything up. And this will have no damage on it. I can't also use the Lucky Dime, but I can play the Lucky Dime. No, I can't if I play the Cogsworth. That's fine, though. It is very weird. They're saying some fucking weird-ass shit. Which is not really a problem inherently. Like, I don't care about weird shit. Plenty of weirdos on Twitch, but like, saying extra weird shit is just unusual. So I'm debating on whether or not I quest with this hook. I don't think I do. I think I hold the hook. I can ink this, though, and pass. So they go to 8. They don't really have a board wipe. Like, there just isn't anything in these colors that can board wipe. I just wish that we... Okay, so they're just going to Elsa again. Does that even matter? I mean, it is a way for them to keep reusing their Elsa to tap some of our stuff. It taps Beast and, I guess, like Flaversham or Hook. It is pretty tempo, like high tempo from our opponent. Like, we're supposed to dime here for sure. Like, we dime. I'm debating on whether or not I'm supposed to use this Cogsworth. I think I'm going to hold the Fishbone in hand to see if they just don't kill the Flaversham. But I'm debating on if I attack with this Cogsworth. Or just quest with it. I feel like I do. I feel like I do, and I just hold these in hand and pass. This is in case they play a dime of their own. Should be their whole turn. Would put them to 15, which is a pretty big number. They may just be looking to play more Elsa, which is still a bit of a problem. Fox. Okay, so they're probably just going to replay their Elsa, which is really annoying. Like, if our hand wasn't so shit, this wouldn't be as big of a problem. But our hand is really bad. So I would assume that they're going to double attack the gas or the cogs here. And then just replay Elsa. Which is pretty annoying. Oh, they hops and kill our Lucky Dime. Okay, that's actually fine. So it's going to get us new cards. I mean, we'll see what else they play this turn. They play another Fox, looking to, what, kill the Beast? Okay, that's actually not that bad for us. I mean, I don't love our position here, but that is more manageable. Unfortunately, we're out of dimes now. Unless we find our Tamatoa. But we can find the Tamatoa, so let's Popsicle first. And then let's quest here and draw 2 cards to start. Okay, so another Flaversham and a Tinkerbell. Well, Tinkerbell is great. So we're going to play Tinkerbell because that kills the snake for free. And then I think I'm going to play this Fishbone Quill. We're going to ink this Mickey Mouse. And then I'm going to play this other Flaversham to draw 2 more cards. And then I feel like I'm supposed to run out this other Captain Hook as well. And maybe just get rid of this. And then we're just going to try and race from here. Do something like this and pass. Because now if their hops decides to kill the hook, it's fine. Like, that's not a problem. And if they're just playing Elsa this turn, they tap, what, like 2 things? We play our whole hand out again. Like, we start with Gaston and then do more stuff. Like, Elsa on its own isn't necessarily fast enough here. Because it doesn't have haste. And they've already played 2 of their foxes, and 3 of their goats are already gone. So they don't have a ton of reach either. So it is entirely possible that we can just bully them from here. So we're going to tap another hook. Hook Tink. Not really sure what they're doing. This is fine, because this means that Tinkerbell can kill Judy Hopps if they kill a Captain Hook. Like, they're going to kill this Captain Hook. Would be my assumption. They just decide to quest. Okay. It's fine. And then they play out another Judy Hopps. Okay, so they have us pretty dead to rights. Let's start with Gaston. So we can't grab your sword and tank this turn. I think what I'm supposed to take is Fishbone Quill to draw more cards. And I think I'm just supposed to start with that, because if I can delete this Elsa, we can kill the Judy Hopps with some of our other stuff anyway. And I don't really care about this hook, right? I'm debating if I'm supposed to ink this or not. I don't think so, because there's a world where I ink something else and play these 2. So let's do this. Draw 2. Okay, so we found a Let It Go. So we can cast Let It Go here. We can just hook the Judy Hopps, and then we can draw 2 more cards here as well. Which I think I like more than kind of anything else. Yeah, Let It Go is what I was looking for here. So we can quest here on the Popsicle. Draw 2. Alright, so we can get rid of Cerberus. That'll let us play this other Captain Hook, so we can hit the Judy. Play Hook. Play Let It Go. Get rid of Elsa and pass. And then now there's just like no way that they can win this race, I don't think. Unless they're also running, like, Dime, Bell. I haven't seen any Bells out of this deck. Like, Dime Bell kills us. Yeah, it's just, they have a lot of stuff that is hard to predict. But in general, I would say that a lot of their cards are... like, they don't have a way of dealing with a wide board, basically, which is why I was able to go pretty wide here. Yeah. Yeah, it could be Big Tala. I don't know if they could have drawn enough cards this turn, though. Maybe. Or I don't know if they could have added enough ink this turn to burn me out. So they would need to do 5. 5's a lot. They're debating on if they can remove, like, if they Elsa and tap 2 things, if they tap, like, the Belle and the Gaston, if they can still race here, but they don't know that we have another Let It Go, which will be pretty good here, I think. This is why I've liked Let It Go quite a bit. Over they're gonna kill, or they're gonna trade with Tinkerbell, sure. This is why I've liked Let It Go over Zeus, because Zeus only does 5. And it wouldn't be able to kill Elsa there. Which is obviously not ideal. We have 11 cards left in our deck. It's not a ton, but we can draw a couple more, right? We ripped our Tamatoa. We can't quite kill them this turn with it. We can get the dime back, but we can't activate it because it's 15 to play it. So I guess we don't even bother. We just quest out. And then we ink again. And then we set up for next turn to just Tamatoa and do it immediately, even if they have ways of dealing with it. Yeah, I think that's fine. So let's do the beast here. We'll play Tinkerbell. I mean, they may just not be able to deal with our whole board either, which is also something to think about. Just ink Cogsworth, and then quest with these and pass. And this way, I can always get them with the dime if they somehow wipe our board, but I don't think that they can with this, with 4 cards. I just don't think that there's 4 cards in their deck that can kill all of these. Elsa, Shift Elsa isn't enough. Fox definitely isn't enough. I think that's all of their rush, and their whole deck is gone now. Fox, 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 and I thought there was one up there, but maybe not. Yeah, it looks like we got him. I definitely think we could have won this a little bit easier had we played it differently, but overall, I think the deck is still pretty good. The pilot needs a little bit more experience with it probably, but the deck is fine. Alright, another mirror. We go second again, which is unfortunate. We do need some ramp. We can keep these. Okay, we found a Quill and a Cogsworth. Both of those are very good. And we found a Bell, which is not as important early. I did get rid of my only answer to Smee. So if our opponent opens on a really aggressive Smee line, we could be in some trouble. Hook is fine. It's the Smee as the follow-up that's problematic. Do this and pass. Yeah, not having Smee on 2 feels pretty bad. Double Hook, I don't know if I care as much about as a Smee, because this is not nearly a fast enough clock to really keep up with what this deck is capable of doing. Like, we'll do this into either Gaston or Cogsworth. Honestly, maybe even just Gaston. Hopefully they don't have ramp, but they might. They don't have a lot of cards left in their hand. Benja the Popsicle, sure. I don't know why people are doing this. I guess because it's aggressive, like they're intending on just beating down. Which I suppose is a thing. Maybe makes me want this Tinkerbell a little more. So let's do this. We'll ink again one of the Gastons. Let's just keep this in case we have to. Like, if they have another Benja here, Sure. We probably just go Cogsworth into Tinkerbell, and then like what is their board doing? Because they literally can't quest or attack. We just dump on their whole board. Could also just play Cerberus, but I don't think we necessarily need to do that. We'll get rid of the Flaversham. Yeah, because they missed. Yeah, I think that's fine. I guess this is better to stop what they're doing, and then the Tinkerbell's a better follow-up. Maybe that's wise. Because I can just Cerberus and, like, attack into what they're doing. Like, kill a Benja or whatever and let them 2-for-1 themselves. Perhaps I even play the Cogsworth and hit the Benja. I can't both Cogsworth and Smee, so I think I get rid of the Smee. Play Cogsworth. Hit the Benja. Pass. I mean, we're not in a great spot here. This is one of the reasons that I was supposed to keep the Captain Hook. Maybe even over the Popsicle and the Flaversham, like we just keep only Captain Hook and send everything else back. The mirror is really weird on the draw. We've been on the draw an awful lot today, which I'm not a big fan of. Assume they'll just quest out here, which puts them at 19, so I guess we just die. I wonder if they're a bot. Probably are, would be my assumption. Like, just straight up a bot. Like, maybe I have to let it go here. That doesn't really feel like a winning line, though. Like, I think it's supposed to be hit a Captain Hook here. Cerberus the Benja. Yeah, I guess I just lose to an aggressive draw of just all Benjas all the time. Alright, we're done with you. Bye. You're just really annoying. And almost certainly a fucking bot. Yeah, we're just dead. They can literally just find a dime and then kill us, and I just don't think that we can close the game fast enough. Honestly, if we had another Tinkerbell in hand, this isn't miserable for us, but... because then I could just hit one and kill them both. Okay, I guess it's this. Puts us at 8. We play another Cog, Smee, Captain Hook, and then I just go if I hit this here, no, it's just better to quest this. I'll just do these. Like this, and pass. So this is 10 that we're gaining, but it just isn't going to be enough. They just, like, play two things. We may not necessarily have the answers to them anymore. They can't interact with our board, but we're a bit late on the being able to deal with what they're doing. Like, we may have to be in a situation where we have to whole new world just to kill their board. Like Tink Swords or whatever. which is doable, or double swords. It's not great, though, because it also eats up a lot of our resources. And it means that we probably don't have dime. But maybe the dime doesn't matter, and we're supposed to just find bells instead, because the dime's too slow here. We'll see what we draw, to be honest. Because that will dictate how we're able to navigate next turn. If it is a Tinkerbell or a Swords, I think we have a little bit more odds to be able to do something. Because we can use this Cerberus to sing, and it doesn't change our clock a ton. So we ripped a bell, which is pretty free here, actually. Since it only really costs 2, and it doesn't change our ability to do anything, so I think we play bell, we ink both of these. Oh my fucking god, dude. Animations, go. Alright, so we play both of these, and then we start here. So we drew 1 swords. And then we'll have to Whole New World. So we have to swords with this. This does mean that we have no more dimes, so we are completely out of dime. But this leaves us Tinkerbell as an answer as well, which I think we have to do. So we quest with this. Okay, so Tinkerbell's an out here. We Tinkerbell. Kills those. And then we quest. Then send it back. And then we're gaining 17 if they don't kill us. But if they play dime, they can't dime with any creatures, so we might be fine here. That was a good turn, yeah. The bell makes the turns really interesting, because it only costs 2. Yeah, that was enough. Nice. Okay. So we navigated that one in such a way that it worked. Obviously, it wasn't awesome. But the mirror is really weird. Cogsworth is so strong. Because, like, Zeus doesn't even kill Bell anymore. So if they're not on Let It Go, they don't even have the ability to deal with this. Like, they just don't have an answer to... like, dealing 6 isn't possible with Zeus, but you can do it with Let It Go. So if they have a Bell in play and 2 Cogsworths in the mirror, like, how do you answer it? How do you kill Bell? If we look at one of these other lists, like this one's probably a little bit more traditional. So like, if we look at a list like this, if I have 2 Cogsworths in play, how do you kill a Bell? Ever. Who are you? Like, for realsies. What is your actual name outside of all these temp accounts? I don't mind unbanning the account. I don't even really care. I just don't know who you are to be that weird. I'm going second against a really annoying deck. So I guess we just do something like this, maybe. What are you talking about? Alright, you're banned again. That's so weird. What does that even mean? Be normal. Like, be fucking normal, bro. You don't even have to be not weird. Just fucking be normal. That's it. Full stop. It's not that hard. Am I supposed to play Captain Hook first, or just the Popsicle into Smee? Probably just Popsicle into Smee is fine. It gives us more options. The Cerberus is actually really good in this matchup. It doesn't 1-for-1 with the flipped Robin, but it's still quite good. I would like to get out this Fishbone Quill and get some ramp on. They are likely Bucky nonsense, but we could even play the Mickey Detective instead of the... I would imagine that as well if they played the other Robin. Makes this a little better. Maybe we don't need all of these Cerberuses. One is probably fine. Let's do this, play Smee and pass. We can try to run them out of Zeus's and then Beast. Could be the airfoil version. That's true. Not like I really am that worried about the airfoil version, though. I don't know that that deck is consistent enough with the airfoils to be able to be good. So they got rid of a sudden chill, so that's good for us, because that shit is fucking annoying. They likely have Zeus, which makes this card a little worse. But they haven't really done anything, so... I mean, there's something to be said for your opponent just time-walking themselves every turn. Maybe we're just not in Captain Hook land anymore, and we're just doing Quill stuff. I cannot imagine a world where you would ever play Prince John and no Bucky. That sounds terrible, but you might be right. But that sounds terrible to me. But not impossible. Like, I don't even think that Prince John is a good card. I think that Bucky's a good card. I think that Bucky's really annoying. But I don't know... Yeah, I mean, this one has Robin Hood Shift, which likely means that it's Bucky. Otherwise, I don't know why you'd be playing Floodborn. But they literally haven't done anything, like, with any of their turns so far. So, who knows? Rise of the Titans, sure. I have been Rise of the Titaned. How are we ever going to recover from our Quill being defeated by a literal 1-for-1? If they have Zeus, it makes playing the Beast a lot worse, obviously. If they don't have it, though, they pretty well screwed. I can do this, and I think just Quest. Because if they want to trade their Robin with my Smee, that's fine. If they want to shift Robin and attack the Smee, that's also fine. Because that means that we get to draw cards with Beast, and I think I'm okay with that. If they just want to trade here, I think I'm fine in that space. And if they Zeus and trade, and we just have an empty board, then I rip another Uninkable, then I'm going to be really sad. Basically. But let's hope that they are not in a space to be able to do that. I have no idea what is in their deck, or what they could have in this spot here. Zeus is the only card that I can think of that would actually be good against us. I guess they could Mother Knows Best and just bounce our Beast as well, but I have no idea what they're playing, because they haven't really done anything all game. They've inked one card a turn and blown up a Quill. Well, they obviously don't have Zeus. Okay. Sure. Our Beast is at 2 damage on it. Absolutely. And then you discarded a card. And then decided to trade with the Smee anyway. Sure. Okay, we ripped an Inkable. That's very good. Because now we can start playing Gastons, which are pretty good in this matchup. Given our board, Bell is not super good here. Let It Go could be okay, though. Like, I don't know what their payoff is in this deck, but I feel like having a removal spell wouldn't be terrible. And then I think we're just going to do this and pass. I'm surprised that didn't animation cancel, to be honest. I wonder if this is the version of the deck that I should play. Does it feel like there's any changes that you might make? Like, has there been anything that's been really terrible? I don't think so, right? Nothing has felt truly miserable. We found a whole new world and a Mickey. I have a couple of options. We can actually, like... We can kill the Ursula, Let It Go the Robin, and, like, just play another Gaston. We can start with Gaston first, and then make a choice. Okay, sure. So it lets me keep inking anyway. I think we'll do this on the Ursula. We'll sing this here. And then just pass. And then now we can just start questing next turn, probably. Like, the dime isn't particularly exciting, but we even have the world where we can just, like, start whole new worlding, but we'll see if this beast still lives. If they decide to just kill the beast, we might just whole new world. I don't know. Like, maybe we don't even care about their things, because they can't really interact with our stuff that well, and we just are supposed to, I don't know, do stuff. Yeah, so when I opted to run the last copy of Gaston... 3 damage to a chosen character, so that just kills our Gaston. Do I care? Not really. I'll talk about it in a second. Let me run this turn here. Maybe the play is just double Mickey Mouse. Ink Tinkerbell. Quest with everything. So when I decided to go up to the 4th Gaston, like, because I started shaving some of the sad beasts, right? Because the card is a little awkward in the metagame currently. Then the deck needed more draw, like more consistency with its stuff. So then I wanted the 4th Gaston, but that was too many uninkables. So then something kind of had to go. And when playing with the Zeus, Let It Go, like that combo or whatever, and thinking about all of the cards that realistically we were ever playing with, I was never using Zeus. Like, this isn't a control deck, and sometimes I still play it a little too much like a control deck, but the reality is that it's not a control deck, right? This deck is effectively a combo deck. It's an aggro mid-range pile, right, that has Lucky Dime to close out the game when you get closer to that point. Right, because we just gained 10 in that single turn. Right, the idea being that you are able to sort of quest with some of your things throughout the earlier turns. You know, you start playing these Gastons, which not only give you another card, but also they just quest for 3, and you make them kill them. And sometimes I play some of my cards a little too defensively, and I think that it costs a little equity in some of these games. So it's definitely something to be more aware of, especially if we decide to play this list tomorrow. Because I definitely think that can cost us, certainly. Did I actually put the list up? don't know if I did. And I'm sure you know where to find it anyway, right? But here's the list. Yeah, it never feels like it's a control deck because it doesn't have good control cards, right? The only kind of control card that you can really play towards or with is something like Be Prepared, because it is an inevitability. If you draw into a Be Prepared, like, you're in a really good spot. But if you don't have that Be Prepared, like, you're just not in a good spot, you know? And I really need ramp more than I need this Benja. Maybe we didn't need the second popsicle, but ugh, dime is really not good here. It'll probably be fine. Yeah, it's something to think about, right? Like, I don't know if that is, like, 100% how this deck is and how it plays out, but it definitely feels like that sometimes. I think I can get rid of the Beast hard-headed here because we have the Rise of the Titans, though I'm not thrilled if I have to play the Rise of the Titans. We're going to have to navigate these turns a little weird just because of our hand. Because we have the Dime, which is pretty trash here, and we don't have any ramp outside of this Bell, and Bell is not a particularly exciting ramp card anyway. So we have to be a little conservative against something like Grammatala for our Smee, because they do use Crab a lot to bully your characters, which can be awkward. I'm debating on whether or not I just Popsicle, because I'd really like to find Quill if I can. Second Let It Go. Ugh. Okay. I feel like I can't get rid of the second Let It Go, but maybe I am supposed to. Like, maybe I'm just supposed to run out of 3/3 this turn, straight up. But I was working under the assumption that they would Quill, and then we would need to deal with it this turn. Turns out that they did not do that. So I guess we get rid of the Let It Go now and just play out the Smee and pass. And then we're just going to have to Flaversham and try to maybe clean up the board with Grab Your Sword or something. We are not in an awesome position here. I would assume that they're going to Fox this Mickey Mouse, perhaps. They bounce, or they ink with their snake. They just play a Flaversham. Yeah, I mean, I can't really stop them. So our hand is bad, so I guess we're getting rid of this now. And we do this. Another Smee and a Mickey. I think I'm supposed to Smee their Mickey and then offer the Grammatala to kill the Smee. Alternatively, I just quest for 2. And then make that same offer anyway. Yeah, fuck it. And maybe this is where I'm not necessarily questing aggressively enough with this deck. Because I'm just, like, not using the Smee to gain 2, not using my other cards. Like, they just immediately Grammatala'd into the red zone, right? And they're just, like, gonna bounce something to kill the Smee, which I think is weird, but whatever. I guess they're considering Fox to be a removal spell then, which is fine. Jesus, okay, well, us not having ramp is gonna work out okay here, I guess, because they played right into Grab Your Swords. Into Tinkerbell the following turns. I guess we get rid of Smee, unfortunately. I have to Grab Your Swords this. I can't let them gain 1,000. I don't love it, but I feel like this is the play that I have to make. And then we just have to quest here. And we can draw our 2 cards. Like, my problem this game is that because we didn't have our ramp earlier, that we're just, like, super far behind. Luckily, I have a Titans to deal with this. Can I double ramp and Titans? That would be 9. No, I'm 1 short of being able to do that, right? But I can Quill plus Titans pretty easily. Which I think we'll do. Quill this. I'm debating how much I need this Tinkerbell versus this Beast. We have to ink one of them, though. I'm gonna ink it this way. And then pass. I'm going to keep the Quill in play because I'd like to maybe ink one of these dimes. And this is where they're just going to go wide and destroy us because I don't have the Tinkerbell anymore. What item am I playing around here? I guess it's specifically just like dime, which is silly. Because it's less likely that they have dime than they have almost anything else, right? It's fine. We'll Popsicle. We'll Flaversham. Yeah, I think I was unnecessarily playing around, or trying to play around something that's just not real. Which is fine. That'll happen. Let's play Gaston. Another Let It Go. Yeah, I guess. Maybe the 1-drop is better there because I can just add another thing to the board. Yeah, we're really not playing this very well. I should have inked one of these dimes. There's no shot that we can play 2 of them here. We got rid of an inkable instead. They're going up to 14. Yeah. I think if we have another 1-drop in play, like the Captain Hook, we're at least in a better position. But still not a great position. Okay, they just have Elsa anyway. I guess we perish. I navigated this game so badly. Like, staggeringly badly. Almost every decision that I made there was the wrong one. Yeah, that was really bad. We'll play one more game, but if we play anything close to that badly again, we're just probably done. That was really bad. Do not play the game that way. It's not good at all. That was fucking heinous. Like, knowing that they're essentially a creature deck, getting rid of our only character, and then just, like, getting rid of our, like, everything that we did there was terrible. Like, holy fuck. I think we ship this. See if we can't find some ramp. Going second again. I haven't really been keeping track of our first, second, but it definitely feels like we've been going second an awful lot. Like, I don't know the exact ratio, obviously, but it has felt like it was pretty brutal. I'm just, like, not even tired. I'm just not good with the deck. That's maybe even worse. Because if I want to play this tomorrow and I'm just bad with it, then that's even more abysmal. Well, that's fucking shitty. Like, maybe I'm supposed to keep a big tank in this matchup? No, you need the ramp. Like, our deck is just going to be slow, and we're going to lose because of that. There's, like, not much I can do about it. Yeah, okay, sure, dude. Sure, dude. Why? Okay. Thank you, I guess. Why did they whole new world? I don't understand. Huh? I don't understand. I'm lost. Help. I'm lost. Please help. Why would they do that? Well, Benj is certainly useless in this matchup. There's a world where this is better, but I think I'm just going to run out the Quill here. We're going to do this, play this as well. And then I think just pass. So this is the interesting turns that I'm not sure what to do. I could just quest with Smee. Make Robin attack it. They still gain their 2. And then I can hit back. I guess that's probably better. Like, I don't care if they have the card. Like, I'm just going to run out Cogsworth next turn anyway. But maybe because I'm going to run out Cogsworth, like, I'd rather have the Smee alive? I don't fucking know, dude. We'll see what they do. Rise of the Titans. Dude, why are people playing so many item destruction cards? Don't understand. It's very weird to me. Like, it's not unreasonable to play these cards. It's just very weird to me to play these cards. In the quantities that they're playing them, basically. Alright, I guess we play Cogsworth, and then we just kill your Robin. I don't know. Pass the turn. I think this was the only reason, because we were playing Cogsworth, like, we could have kept our Smee alive. Yeah, they're playing 4 Spellbook. Probably true. Why would this deck even care if they played Spellbook? Like, unironically. Why does any deck care other than red-purple if they play 4 Spellbook? I mean, this shit is, like, really annoying. We're probably going to have to use the Cogsworth to sing Whole New World. So that we can deal with their board. Or potentially deal with the Queen's Castle. Which is annoying, but I don't think I can play this Gaston here, certainly. Like, I don't hate the Gaston here. Gaston, we killed a Robin, but that's just, like, not that good either. I think it's just this, and then we look for, like, Tink. Tink is the stronger play in this spot. We also do have Rise of the Titans on the Queen's Castle. That is another line that we can take. We can play the Quill, ink something, Popsicle, Rise of the Titans. Tinkerbell is probably better. We, like, let them castle for 1 turn. It just doesn't get us any more ink on the board, which is unfortunate. But maybe that's fine. Because it at least bullies their board. And it stops them drawing cards with the blue fairy as well. Like, drawing 2 cards here. I think we'll just do this and pass. Like, they can't even Zeus this without killing the Cogsworth first. I don't love this play because obviously they have the Queen's Castle, but maybe they'll try and put something else in it. And then that'll give us the ability to just rise it because it'll let them waste a little bit more time. Are they looking to... I mean, Crab would be a worst case scenario here. I don't even know if this deck plays Crab, though. That's the play? That's fine. That is a-okay. So we can do this. We have a dime in the bin that we could get back. That's kind of neat. Let's start with Popsicles, see where that leaves us. Another whole new world, huh? Okay, well that means that is the play that we're angling towards. So let's get rid of Gaston here. And then I guess we just pass for one turn, because they can swords and kill Cogsworth, I guess. Maybe I should have popsicled the Cogsworth. That was stupid. That was really dumb. If they swords my Cogs here, like, then that was really stupid. Blow up the Quill again. Like, bro, grow up. Okay, Cogsworth lives, so we didn't shit the bed there. Luckily. They have done a lot of things in a single turn. Can we race if we don't rip swords? I wonder. Interesting. This will put them at 15. But they will have almost no way of removing our bell anymore. Hey Sky, thanks for the raid. I think we popsicle here. I think we play another Cogsworth. And then we ink this Tamatoa. Hello? Ink Tamatoa. Okay, big crab. Nice. We ink Tamatoa. We play Bell. I don't think that I Whole New World this turn. I think we Whole New World next turn. I do think that I can quest with Tinkerbell this turn, though. With Resist 2, there's just not that much that they can do that deals with Tinkerbell favorably for them. Because their likely play is just to quest out and try to race here. Because I don't know what else they can really do in these colors. And if they're just drawing a bunch of cards, that is great for us. Yeah, we're on the 4 bell train. People have been playing so much more item removal, and I just like don't understand why. They've blown up 2 of our items, or 3 of our items already this game. It's just so weird. I just like don't even care. We had an opponent Judy a Popsicle like on turn 4. I was like, okay, dude. So the Queen's Castle and a Jafar. The Jafar is a little annoying. They need to counter the Mufasa lanterns. Yeah, probably. So we can ink the Beast. And in this spot, it definitely feels like we have to... we have to Whole New World to start, I think. Because if we can rip a Swords and a Tink, we can actually just kill their whole board and then still quest with Bell. So I think I'm supposed to just Whole New World with this Cogs to start. Unfortunate that we didn't hit the Swords. We did hit the Tink, which is nice. That can let us Tink their Tink. Also kill the Benja. The Jafar can potentially just kill us. What if we inked their Jafar with our Let It Go? How does that look for us? We could also then still develop a Bell. That would leave them with just Maleficent plus the castle. That would put them at 17, and they can't Goat Bounce Goat. That seems fine. And we can even play the Smee as well, if we play this. Or did I fuck up the numbers? Maybe I fucked up the numbers. So it's this. Oh my god, please cast the fucking trigger. Hello? Trigger, trigger. Okay, so we do that. Hello, trigger. Holy fuck, why is everything so slow? I don't understand why half these triggers are just... Is it Cogsworth that does it? Is it the resist that makes your triggers so fucking slow? Holy shit, dude. If I let it go, they can goat me. That's true. That's true. Because then they can Goat Bounce Goat, specifically. They may not even play Goat, to be honest. Like, I have not seen one. But yes, they could Goat Snake us, for sure. If I do that line. I counted wrong there. Not assuming that they were going to have 10, but then I gave them 1 from the Let It Go. It might have been right then to use Bell just to attack the 2-2. Because then they have literally, like, no outs. Because I think we still had 10, 16, 18... We had, like, literally 26 lore or something in play. And there's no board wipes in those colors that do anything because of the double Cogsworth, so... Yeah, it was probably better to use the Bell to just attack and clear their whole board and leave them just with 17 and 9. Yeah, I'll be playing it later today is my plan. This hand is kind of mid. Hello? Maybe we don't need this in this matchup. We're against Popsicles. Maybe we do want Whole New World. I don't know. We're going to mulligan these. I didn't even look at what I was facing before I decided to do shit. This hand is okay. I'm debating if I even play this hook at all. We'll see. I don't need to play it turn 1. I think I can do this. Maybe we just play the Smee and then don't even bother. Ideally, what I'd like to do is, because we're on the play, we can hard-head at a Quill on turn 4, or a Popsicle, which I think I'd like to do. So that means that we, I guess, just don't need the Tinkerbell at all. If we're going to play Smee here. Depending upon what our next draw is, we may ink it with the Quill. And then play out the hook as well, but we'll see. May not be necessary. They get rid of a Grammatala. Interesting. To play 1 jump ahead, sure. Okay, so we... I guess maybe don't need this second Popsicle, or maybe we just don't need the Captain Hook at all. Yeah, maybe we don't need the Captain Hook at all. And then we get rid of the Gaston as well. So we'll play the Quill. We'll ink the Gaston number 1. Because we're going to have to play the Flaversham anyway. And let's quest here and pass. And then they can't really do much Their best play this turn is probably Quill into Queen and just attack and kill the Smee. But they're likely just going to Flaversham. Sure. So then if the hard-headed isn't good, we'll just use our own Flaversham, and that's fine too. Or we might Gaston. We'd have to get rid of too many cards to Gaston here. I think I'm just going to Flaversham instead. A Serb and another sword. We can get rid of the sword and the Serb. And then just quest a Smee and pass. And if they decide that they want to kill the Smee with the Flaversham, I think that's okay. Yeah, my intention is to play in the tournament today, and I think that I'm going to play this deck. I'm still debating on a few of the card choices, but overall it's felt pretty good. The pilot has been the problem, not necessarily the deck. McDuck Manor. Sure. I could even Popsicle or Smee to keep it around. There's an option. They do have Be Prepared next turn available. Given that, it makes me more inclined to do the Beast hard-headed. And then just let the Smee die. Just blow up their Popsicle. We could even play the Mickey too. We'd have to get rid of these two. Then we could play Mickey plus Beast. Leaves them with the Manor, but that's probably okay. We'll do this, and then we'll play hard-headed. Blow up the Popsicle. Do I like shoes? I mean, sure. I guess the answer to that question is yes. Why is this Smee still in play? There we go. What a weird question. Today's been very weird. With our questions. So they opt to play Quill now, which is fine. It would not surprise me if they use this Flaversham to draw this turn. They might Maui our Flaversham, which would be unfortunate. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Do I want to build a snowman? Sometimes. We are able to gain 3 to go to 10. We're not in an awesome position here. I wouldn't mind a whole new world. We are probably okay if we have a whole new world to just cast it with the Beast and then play a bunch of shit. Especially if they get rid of this Quill, that would be ideal. I would even consider Gastoning to get rid of it. So they decided not to. They just gained 1 lore with it. So let's start with the Gaston and see where that leaves us. Okay, well, based on what I said I was probably going to do, we should just do that. So we'll get rid of Grab Your Sword and the Captain Hook here. And then we'll sing with this. And I guess we'll Benja their Fishbone Quill. And then quest. Pass. I don't love that they have McDuck Manor in play. We've removed a Be Prepared and a Hades. And we have quite a bit of ramp over our opponent as well. A Dime would be a good pickup. It's interesting about this Maui. It can trade with the Beast, which could be something that they're interested in doing. But if they're intending on just playing a bunch of McManners to try and race us, outside of just slamming infinite Mauis, like, we may have a solution for that. But unfortunately, the Mauis are a bit of a bully here, and we don't have any Tinks left to deal with this. So it would have to specifically be swords. But we can go up to 13 here. And then just, like, play more to the board. And then just, like, not worry about these Mauis. I think I'm going to start with a Gaston and then see what we get out of it. Let It Go or a Popsicle or another Fishbone Quill. Well, none of those really do anything against what they're doing right now. So I think I'm just going to take the Popsicle for the time being and then draw a card with that. So this is Smee. Let's get rid of Cerberus. Let's Quill. They're almost certainly going to be prepared if I play another Gaston, right? But Gaston sets me up for, like, Dime into Bell, which I think is probably what I want to be doing. Like, essentially, I'm just digging for Dime. May you ask why we are playing Cerberus? Because Cerberus is a pretty good card. And I will explain. Let me battle here. And then I will pass, and then I'll explain. So Cerberus being a 5/6, trades with Maui after it sings, right? So on turn 4, there are so few cards that can answer the 5/6 Cerberus. So if you ramp into, you know, that as your 5-drop, that you can still Whole New World most of the time anyway. Right? And if you, like, if your intention is that you're trying to just beat your opponent through, you know, you Whole New World and then you do stuff, like, that is a very good way of doing it. Do I want to run out 3 bells? We'll touch on it more after this game. I like, don't have enough time to think in these turns anyway. 2, 4, 6. So I would like to Dime this turn if we can. Because we need to race this, and we really aren't right now. So I'm trying to figure out how many of these bells that I can play. It doesn't do enough for 7, I don't think. Like, it's not a bad card, it just doesn't do enough for 7. We can ink. If I Whole New World now, I can Dime and activate, but then we just, like, don't have another bell in play, which is pretty trash. So I think we just do this. We cast Whole New World. Because we still can Titans one of these, which is the plan. Because it slows their clock down quite a bit. Unfortunately, we didn't draw a Dime. But we can do this, and then play another Popsicle. And then pass. So we have another answer to the Manor, technically. They could just B-prep and play another Manor, which is a problem. But if they don't have Be Prepared, which there's only one left in their deck, then they can only really deal with one of these super easily. We are still digging for dimes, obviously. There is another Flaversham in here, or a couple. that we can use with these popsicles. We have a lot of ink over our opponent, which is nice for these turns. Because especially outside of Be Prepared, there aren't that many ways of dealing with a wide board. Scar can do it, but Scar is too late in these cases. And they can't double spell here. Like, they can't play 2 6s this turn. It has... Here's the deck. It is just what he likes to call the deck. I don't know. Not my pig, not my farm. Okay, so we did not draw something that can get us to lethal this turn. However, we can Rise of the Titans this. Not the Quill, right? Yes. Rise of the Titans to McDuck Manor. We can do this. Let's go to 18. I can play Cogsworth and Hook, and then let it go on the Maleficent Dragon, and then pass. I wouldn't mind this in paper, but I have a lot of experience managing, like, fucking dirtily-ass piles. I don't know why Blue Steel is Zoolander. You would have to ask somebody else. So the reason that I didn't play 2 cogs here, so what card beats us in this spot? So there's only one card in the game that beats us in this position with this amount of ink, and it's Be Prepared. So we can't let them Be Prepared us, because then we just lose. So this plays around Tremaine by playing the Captain Hook. And if they cast Be Prepared, then we have the ability to at least play Cogsworth with Dime, because it is a 2-lore quester. And it gives us another option. So now, based on their hand, which is generally something like Medusas and Tremaines, and knowing what cards they can potentially play, we had the ability to have the Cogsworth in play, upright, so there's nothing that can really target it, with 2 buffers for Tremaines. And outside of their hand being exactly Tremaine, 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 to be able to do play it, shift it, they didn't really have a great answer to these 3 cards, and we only needed to gain 2 to win in that spot. So that's the reason that I didn't play double cogs there, because the only card that we're losing to is Be Prepared off the top, right? If they Be Prepared and then also cast a couple of things, that could be a disaster for us. It's not to say that a single Cogsworth on its own is going to be enough, but this at least gives us the out of, you know, ripping the Dime or ripping another character and then still presenting a threat with the Cogsworth the following turn. So that was the reason that I opted for that. Overall. So this, and 8. Yeah, not a problem. So we were going to talk about the deck, right? So let's look at the deck list. So I have it up here, so we can get a better view of it. So this is what we're currently playing with, okay? So for our 16 uninkables, which is still a lot more than I would like. Here, let me move it over a little bit more like this. This, and then... Oh my god, can we... Okay. No. Bitch. Okay, there. My god. We figured it out. Okay. So, for our 16 uninkables, we're running 3 of the Mickey Mouse, the full playset of Gastons, the full playset of Whole New Worlds, 3 swords, and 2 dimes. So the reason that we're not running Zeus is because it is uninkable. and I wanted to play more ink, so we are playing Let It Go instead, which the cards that we have needed to remove, Zeus really doesn't consistently hit anyway. It does make our lines of shifting, sorry, not shifting, of singing with Flaversham and some instances Bell not possible. However, I don't care. Zeus is a good card. However, it is uninkable. And again, we have to limit it somewhere. Somewhere you have to concede to inkables. And I wanted to play the additional Gaston because we shaved on some of the Sad Beasts. And the reason that we shaved on some of the Sad Beast is it's really not that great in the metagame right now. It is not a bad card. It is still very good. And that's why we're still running 1. But it could very easily just be a Benja, and I think your deck would be fine. Or it could be another Tamatoa, or perhaps another Cerberus or whatever. And I don't think it would really be too dramatic. I still think the card is strong. But we could potentially shave off another $60 or $50 or whatever off the deck, and it wouldn't hurt it too much. There's only been a few games where we played where this actually got to draw any cards. Because obviously Zeus kills it. No, Develop Your Brain is not a good card. I don't think it's a playable card. So the reason that I don't think Develop Your Brain is good is I would rather just play a good card instead of Develop Your Brain. I don't need to dig for other cards because I am putting good cards in instead. Does that make sense? Like, I don't need a card that all it does is pay 1 ink to find a different card. I don't need that in this deck because I'm already out of room to put more shit. Like, I want more cards that aren't trash. And we already get to see so many damn cards in our deck. I don't know why we need to play Develop Your Brain. This is not a full combo deck. We are not looking for 3 exact pieces to instantly win the game. So I don't think Develop Your Brain is actually necessary. You don't need cantrips in a deck that doesn't dig for specific things. This is not like Blue-Red, where you only have a finite amount of card draw, because if you don't have Popsicle or Flaversham, you have to have both of them to have any draw in Blue-Red. We don't have that problem because we have other card draw. We have something like Whole New World, which we can lean towards to draw a brand new hand. You know, so we're not at the whim of just a 2-card combo that we don't have any redundant pieces for. This deck is filled with redundant pieces. That's why we have so many 5-drops. Because, like, the 5 and 6-drop slot, all of them can sing the Whole New World or the Grab Your Sword or even the Let It Go. But we're, for the most part, like, if we play a Cerberus on 5 versus a Cogsworth in a lot of matchups, it's about the same. Either way, it's going to be able to sing the Whole New World if we want it on turn 5. But for a minute, let's talk about Cerberus here. So, the slot that this is occupying is effectively like the Beast Tragic Hero slot, right? Because normally this deck would have 4 of these, right? 4 Beast Tragic Heroes, which is a 3/5. It's basically in this slot, right? So you can consider one of these Beast Hardheadeds and 2 of these Cerberuses as though they were this slot, if you want. If you want to play that, I'm sure it would be fine. But if we look at Cerberus' stat line, and with the way that this deck wants to play, you want to play a Mickey or a Quill on your turn 3, and then on turn 4, you want to play a 5 or a 6-drop, depending upon if you have Quill and if you have these and you want to play them, right? So, what actually kills Cerberus in this entire fucking game that doesn't die against it? Like, it doesn't at least trade. Even Maui, with its massive stat line, only trades with Cerberus. The stat line is insane. This is literally the same amount of stats as Maui, but it's a common, right? So then it doesn't have all of the other text, basically. So when you look at something like Cerberus as a singer, I don't care if this is tapped every turn for the entirety of the game. This doesn't need to quest ever, even a single time. You put this in play with the intention of it always singing or always attacking something, similar to what you would find from a Maui, realistically. it can just be in play, and then it's their fucking problem to deal with. If they have Maui, like, let's say, for example, that we beast Tragic Hero, right? So we draw 1 extra card from it, sure. We sing Whole New World the turn after, so the +1 card is probably irrelevant anyway. And then now they play Maui and just kill it. And their Maui is alive still. Great. That's not an ideal place to be. The same is true of Cogsworth, right? They can just beat up on Cogsworth if this is your singer on turn 5. If you are in a situation where maybe you had a crappy hand, or maybe you just quilled your whole thing away with the intention of Whole New Worlding, you're probably almost empty board, or whatever you played that turn, because whatever sang, whether it was Cogsworth or your Sad Beast here or whatever, it's probably just going to die, and their Maui's going to live, or their Fox plus a random thing can beat up into it, right? And obviously Fox plus Crab still kills it, or the Let It Go potentially, or Dragonfire, I guess, can kill it on, like, their turn 5. But outside of those, like, can't Medusa Cerberus. If we have literally anything else in play, you can't Tremaine it. If we have a Mickey or a Smee or a Hook, and all of these are relatively common to have in play through the early few turns, to protect your Cerberus. And this is also on turn 6, for them to Tremaine it. So if you don't follow it up with anything, like, and this is all you have in play, sure. But on turn 5, there just is so little that can answer a Cerberus. And anything that does, like Maui, just trades with it, so it's fine. You're okay with that. Some people are playing, like, Audrey in this slot, which is just another warded 5-drop. But I feel like it's the same kind of problem, where it doesn't put a lot of presence on the board. It's okay at doing the Whole New World stuff, but, like, I don't really ever want to be not questing with Gaston. Tinkerbell, I want it to be challenging in killing stuff with that. This is fine just singing. I don't care. Let it just turn sideways, sing a song, slam a Grab Your Sword or a Whole New World, and if they attack back and kill it, fine. They're just trading their whole turn, basically, to deal with your Cerberus. As opposed to something like Beast, which can get killed by Zeus, can get killed by Medusa. Like, Zeus, I think, is the biggest offender here, because there's so many decks now playing for Zeus. 3 or 4, at least. Almost every Steel deck, for the most part, is playing Zeus. This one, Let It Go, sometimes fits in that slot instead, but a lot of the blue Steel decks are still running some amount of Zeus. So, like, you play Beast hard-headed, they take 4, they blast it, and it's dead. It's just gone. And you gain nothing out of it, right? And it also just dies to Medusa. It dies to just so many things. Like, 3-5 is just such an awkward stat line right now. Like, 6 willpower is really what you want, because it lives a Zeus. And 5 power is a good position to be in for every card except for specifically World's Greatest Criminal. Which sees, like, sometimes a 2 of occasionally in Steel Song, right? So that's the reason that we're playing Cerberus in this slot, realistically, is because I'm not too worried about this being a 1-lore quester. We have plenty of other, more lore-dense characters in the deck. We got the Bell, we got the Gaston, we got Tamatoa, we have a lot of 2s. So I'm not too concerned about, like, not having dime targets. Sometimes this is just a shitty dime target, and that's okay. But it's just a lot of stats on a single body, more so than almost anything else that you're presenting in these decks, basically. There was some consideration for the 6-5, like, there is a 6-5 Steel. It's literally the same card, but it's a 6-5. But it dies to Zeus, so it was disregarded, right? Because that defeats the purpose of why we're running it to begin with. This is mostly just as a nod Because obviously, against Steel, we would rather just play Cogsworth anyway, because it's just insane in the matchup. But you don't always have Cogsworth, and you only have 4 of them, right? So you want other cards that are similar in power level that you can play, and I just don't think that the Tragic Hero is it anymore, at least in this current metagame. So then, the second option in that same sort of mana cost slot, or ink cost slot, is the Beast Hard-Headed, which is just Benja, right? Benja is, when you play this character, you may banish an item. This is, when you play this character, you may banish an item. These are just the same card, except this one is a 5-drop that's a 4/4 versus a 3-drop that's a 2/3. So for the 2 extra mana, you're getting an extra 2/1 in power, which doesn't seem that great, right? However, it is also a 5-drop, so it is able to sing Whole New World, which is nice. If your opponent has really anything going on as far as items, if you play a Benja as your sort of turn 4, you ramped into this play, you don't have the option to sing Whole New World or grab your sword or whatever. Like, you're locked out of doing these. And the stat line of 4/4 is perfect. Yeah, absolutely. If you're fighting against a deck that doesn't have an answer to Sad Beast, it's a great card. It's certainly better than Cerberus based on the words on it, right? Drawing an extra card is very good. Sometimes it being buffed is very good. But, like, there are so many cards now that can interact and deal with the Sad Beast that this deck just doesn't necessarily need it. Because you don't want to always be playing into your opponent's cards if you don't have to, and we don't have to. We don't need the card draw necessarily from the Sad Beast. It's nice when it happens. But it is also a massive blowout if you are relying on singing Whole New World on turn 5. Like, you really aggressively quilled, you like boomed your whole hand into the Inkwell, and you need to resolve that, but you don't have your Cogsworth or whatever. Like, Sad Beast is not it. If you watch Sky play at all, this card is ink like every fucking game. I don't think I've ever even seen him cast one. It just is in the ink all the time because it's mid as fuck. When it's good, it's awesome, but when it's bad, which is all the time, it's ink. So if that's the case, I may as well play a card that's good in other scenarios as well, and not just very rarely playable. Because there's a lot of games where Cerberus is quite good. That's not necessarily true, because there's a lot of situations against Ruby where you play a Sad Beast and then they just immediately play Medusa. Then what? There are so few answers to Cerberus in those colors, in any color. Like, this deck very rarely is in top deck only mode because it plays so much sort of redundant card draw. It's not impossible for it to be, but it is a lot less common. But when you're comparing Cerberus, I don't believe that the proper comparison is Cerberus versus Beast. It is more Cerberus versus the other cards that people would be running instead of Sad Beast. Because the alternative cards that people are running are things like Audrey, for example, which is just a 2/5 or a 3/5 ward that when it quests, it untaps an item. Or, you know, something like Beast Hard-Headed or Robin or whatever. There are some decks that are running Robin for whatever reason. I think it's just worse than this, but I think the reality is that it doesn't really matter what you're playing here as long as it's not Sad Beast. Because I think this card, you remember the times when it's really good more than you will remember the times when it's really bad. Because there are games, I've played games when Sad Beast like just sits there, it's drawn 4 cards or whatever, and it feels like the game is unlosable because you just have so many resources above your opponent. but I feel like those games are a lot more rare in the current metagame than you think. This card gets Zeused a lot. This card gets Medusa'd a lot. A lot more than most. Because of its stat line, people are playing removal spells that are good against this stat line, so that they don't lose to it. If you play this, and you destroy an item, and then they decide to Zeus it, it doesn't matter as much. You blow up a Quill, or you blow up a... you know, an opposing Popsicle, even. Discard is okay. Like most Whole New World decks, a lot of times you just Whole New World and then you can win in those against the discard decks. But it depends on their draw. Obviously, it depends on your draw. As long as you're able... A lot of them just, like, can't beat a Cogsworth to save their life. Because, like any Steel deck, they just don't have really good removal for Cogsworth. So if you're able to sort of get some Cogsworth down... Sure, but they also play Zeus. That's what I'm saying. So if you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to ramp into Zeus... Or I'm going to ramp into this Sad Beast because it's good against discard. And then they just immediately shift their fucking Rob and make you discard another card and then sing Zeus and kill your Sad Beast. You just lose instantly. The game is just over then. Because now you've inked all the way to Sad Beast and you cannot sing Whole New World anymore. Like, the way that you beat discard is that you Whole New World and you just draw extra cards, and then eventually you clean up their stupid Buckies and Johns and whatever with a Grab Your Swords or a Tinkerbell. But if you play Sad Beast on 4, and then they just untap and Zeus it, you just lose. Like, Shift Robin into Sing Zeus is not that uncommon for those decks. They're literally running 4 Zeus now. I just, like, I don't want to be in a world where, like, the most important play that I make is that I have to have this just live and draw an extra card every turn. Which means that I have to dodge all of the good removal in the format. Literally, this card dies to every removal spell. It's terrible. This deck just doesn't need it. That's all I'm saying. It just doesn't need it. Like, the Hard-Headed is just better as a card. The Cerberus, I think, is whatever. It could be Audrey. It could be another 5-drop, and I think it's fine. Like, I don't think it will necessarily drop in price. Because if people start playing other cards, and the hate for Sad Beast goes down, then the Sad Beast gets better. Right? If you look at some of the red-purple lists, they're running less and less Medusas. They're running more and more Tremaines because they need to be a little bit faster. They need to have a higher lore density. So every Medusa that they cut and Tremaine that they add makes the Sad Beast better. Right? Because now they have less removal for your Sad Beast. It's very interesting. It is an interesting dynamic. When people are playing 4 Zeus and 4 Medusa, Tragic Beast looks bad. Because he just dies to literally everything, like a stiff breeze. It's a meta call. Exactly. Yeah, it has shift. It can get better in the future, certainly. So I did try a list that had Robins. It was okay. But the way that the breakpoints are in this deck, I literally never wanted to cast Robin or shift Robin. Like, the 2/2 was fine. But I never wanted to shift this into play. Because, like, so the shift Robin is 3, right? But on 3, I'd rather be playing Quill or Mickey to get to 5. So then the shift line entirely felt pointless. Right? And I'm sure that there's games where you can shift and then it's, like, pretty good or whatever. But it really did feel like this is just designed for a different type of deck. Because the breakpoints of, like, where you want to be doing stuff just didn't line up very well with the Robin Hood. That was my experience with it, at least. Now, there may be a world where you don't run Mickey Detectives and you run, like, 1 jump ahead. And then the Robin Hood package is maybe a little bit better, because then, like, this can be your 3 if you don't have that. because then your 3-drop slot is a little bit more open. You know, you go 2 into 1 jump ahead into, you know, like shift Robin if you just don't have more ramp. You know, shift Robin plus a popsicle or something. But I don't think that with Mickey this works. But maybe with 1 jump ahead, I think it could be okay. This card is like a lot better in more aggressive decks. Have him out at 5. I would never cast this card if it just cost 5. If I don't want to play Sad Beast, I definitely don't want to be playing Robin on 5. Because, like, they both die to almost the same cards. This is a little better because it doesn't directly die to Zeus. But, like, the stat line is just so irrelevant to me. At that point, I'd rather just have Cerberus. Because what you want in this deck is not just, like, a random guy. It doesn't, though. It doesn't do the same thing as Cerberus. Because Maui just kills it and lives. That is a different thing entirely. Robin is a 3/6. Robin also dies to a Medusa. Those are 2 things that Cerberus directly does not lose to. That is the whole point of playing the 5/6 stat line. Like, this gets to just trade with Maui. This gets to dodge Medusa entirely. It's just a big fucking body. This gets to kill a Tinkerbell and live. It does everything. It's large, right? It kills everything in this mirror. You can kill a Bell if it's tapped. You can kill a Gaston if it's tapped and it lives. You can kill a Gaston and it lives if they play a Tinkerbell in the mirror. It's numbers that you're looking to play out of the Cerberus. In the same way that, like, the 4/4 stat line is a little bit better than I think the Benja. Mostly because it's also a 5-drop, so it can sing your Whole New World. It can sing your Grab Your Swords or your Let It Go. Like, the turns where we are behind that we are able to come back are the ones that we double and triple spell. You know, we draw a bunch of new cards, we ink a couple extras, you know, we play a Bell, ink another one, and then we sing Let It Go, and then also play something. Like, we've developed our board, plus did a couple of things. You're cheating on these resources. I don't really ideally want to be paying 5 for these until I have, like, 15 ink already. Or if I'm trying to double spell, double swords or whatever. Like, I would rather be playing these for free. That is where the deck excels as a big resource deck, a big ink deck. Because you're able to do multiple things. Like, I play Cerberus. If it sings any one of these, it is paid for itself, plus it's a 5/6 body. You know? Like, how do they remove this? What removes this favorably? Fucking nothing. It's just so big. Because it's not that things can't kill it, it's just that the things that people play also, they also get banished if they challenge your Cerberus. You know? And if this gets a 2 or 3 for 1 on top of singing a spell, like, that's awesome for you, you know? It means that they're not targeting your Gaston or, you know, your Bells with those things instead. Yeah, it's like a defensive Maui. Because I want something that can sing that I don't give a shit what they do to it. It is their problem to deal with, not mine. I don't want to have to protect my Sad Beast to feel like it's a real card. That if I sing with this, oh no, I'm going to lose my Sad Beast. That's a tragedy, right? Because this was what was drawing me cards. So you are more conservative when you have these Sad Beasts in play, where you just want to leave it unquesting, untapped entirely, so that it is just an enchantment or whatever that says at the start of your turn, draw an extra card. And then eventually it might quest, right? I don't want to be doing that. I want to be inking my whole fucking universe and then casting a whole new world and drawing a bunch of new cards. And I want to do that every turn, in every matchup. Yeah, and it could potentially go up more. And it could be that Sad Beast gets the axe entirely, and then we either run more Cerberus or we run more Beast Hard-Headed or whatever. I don't really know yet. That's why we have so many one-ofs, because I don't know what the optimal list is. I don't have 1,000 games on this deck like I probably should to feel confident with it. To know exactly what the ideal list would look like. And it could be that Sad Beast just goes entirely and you want another tech piece. It could be just another Benja, or it could just be the third Cerberus. Yeah, and then there is really no such thing as an optimal list, but sometimes Tragic, the Sad Beast is good. You know, and that's why I have the 1. In the same way that sometimes Tamatoa is good. Right? I want more dimes. Like, I would run 3 dimes if they weren't uninkable. But Tamatoa is kind of like the third dime. You know, sometimes you Whole New World and you just put one into your bin, or they destroy one. And then you have your crab to get him back. You know? Or there's some decks that just can't really deal with a crab, and you just get a Popsicle back, and then you just quest with it for a couple turns and win the game. You know, but the Tamatoa, for me, is functionally like dime number 3. It's not quite the same. But I feel like 3 dimes is a lot. It gets really rough on the inkables. And maybe if you run 1 jump ahead so that you can be a little bit lower on the curve. Like, you do 4 1 jump aheads. And then you can maybe afford to run more dimes just because you're the lower part of your curve. Like, if you miss on an ink, you still have the ability to, like, do this plus a thing. I'm not really sure about that. Again, I haven't tested enough other lists. I know that at some point, Savige was cooking up something that had the 1 jump aheads, but he was running like 20 uninkables. And I'm just like not in the market to run 20 uninkables, you know? But that was with 4 Zeus, so maybe that, you know... I don't know. I also like the idea of blanking some of the Zeus. Like, especially in the matchups where people play Zeus, in a lot of them. Like, I don't want to be running out cards early that are good for them to just Zeus, right? Like Bell, I usually don't play super early. I don't want to necessarily be running out the Tragic Beast. And I usually don't always play the Hard-Headed over something like a Cerberus or a Tink or whatever. But I don't want them to get, like, free value. If you remove a Beast immediately before it draws any cards, it's just so bad. Or if this gets hit with a 1 damage from a Tinkerbell or something, it's just so miserable. Card just does nothing then. I don't really give a shit about a 7/5 only on my turn. It's just super awkward. But eventually, when you get Cogsworth down... this stat line looks even better then. Like, Maui can't even kill Cerberus favorably if you have a Cogsworth in play. And that's, like, big fucking game. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's cut the Sad Beast for more of these, or if it's just add in the third Benja, or the second Benja instead of the Beast. Or if it's just cut the Beast entirely and replace Mickey with 1 jump ahead, and then just go to 17 uninkables with the 4 1 jump aheads. Like, that's a possibility too. So that, like, if for some reason you're not playing Smee, you're just playing 1 jump ahead instead. I like the Mickeys because they're a body sometimes that you can put down to Tremaine, like to protect against Tremaine. Yeah, I do too. And, like, sometimes you want the body here. You don't always, which is why you're running, like, 3. Like, I like 1 jump ahead as a card. Like, the idea behind it is really strong. But there are some things about it that I don't like. It's rare that you want to play a lot of these Mickeys, and you'll ink them a lot with the Quill, if you can. Because you don't know what you're inking, right? And when you're running such a, you know, it's one of the reasons that you go up to 2 dimes. Because if you ink both of your dimes, like if you play a lot of Mickeys and you ink both of your dimes randomly, you might be digging for a card that just doesn't exist. And that's a pretty big risk. with decks like this. Like, I would rather this be... I don't know. More like Grammatala, I guess. But I just don't think Grammatala is it in this deck. And maybe it is. The problem with Pooh is that if your opponent ever does Snake Pinocchio on your Winnie the Pooh before you get to ramp, you just lose the game instantly. So you can't really afford to do that, I don't think. And that is like a very common thing that's happening now. There's definitely Pooh decks that I think can do well, but it kind of needs to do its thing right when it comes into play. Because there's just too many... the environment is too hostile for something like that. There's also too much removal that like Steel Song plays for Pooh to work. This is just not consistent enough at attacking, and you can't get it out early. Like, it only can ever come out on 3, and by then they can cast Zeus on it the same. They can have 3 characters out and sing Strength. It's rough. Like, it's Mickey or One Jump Ahead, I think. And I just don't know breakpoint-wise what makes more sense. Like, there are some draws where you do Popsicle into One Jump Ahead Flowersham, and that's, like, really strong. Because then you can immediately follow it up with, like, your 5. And you still have a Flowersham in play. Yeah, I mean, to a point. Pooh is just, like, I don't know. With this deck, because of how, like, if you look at the curve, it's a fucking plateau, right? Up until you get to 5, and then it's just like, boop! You're like, okay, a couple cards here or there, and then boop! So, you really need to hit 5 on turn 4. Like, you cannot afford to miss it. Otherwise, like, this entire line is just shut off for an entire extra turn, which is fucking big awkward. Which is the reason that Mickey or One Jump Ahead generally gets the nod, is this deck almost always wants... honestly, this has been every blue deck that I've played in this game so far. So, like, even going back to set 1, when I was playing yellow-blue, like Amber Sapphire, you always wanted to play Mickey Mouse, or later, you know, we had some Quills in there as well. But you always wanted to play this into, like, your Maleficent 5, like the 3/5 3-lore character. That was your best line of play, was always just going from 3 to 5. Or from, you know, getting up to 4 early to play a character or 2 characters was also fine a lot. But, like, you really needed to go from, like, that 3 to 5, and that was your power turn. Right, because now, not only did you ramp up, you can cut a lot of the 4s from the deck, and it doesn't matter as much. Because you're sort of skipping the 4-drop slot to play the stronger 5s. But yeah, we didn't have Smee as an option. I didn't really play this deck last format. I played red, purple, and blue, red a lot, like Popsicle and the just normal RP control. But it really does feel like if you ever whiff a turn on... Yeah, if you go second and you just, like, don't have ramp, it's brutal. It's so brutal, which is why, like, I don't even know if the Mickey is right. Like, there's turns where you don't hit Smee on 2 that also feel terrible. Like, your early turns are just so bad. Which is one of the reasons that I'm thinking about One Jump Ahead at all. Like, there's pros and cons to Mickey versus One Jump Ahead. With One Jump Ahead, you probably want to run all 4. If you're going to run them at all, you kind of run all 4. So then we would have to remove another card outside of the Mickeys. And it makes your deck with the one jump ahead a little less consistent from the avenue of, like, your late game is a little bit more random because you are inking cards off the top, which is not a huge concern, but it is something to be aware of. But it also makes you a little bit weaker to Tremaine because you don't just always... You don't really necessarily have these, like, random shitters. Sometimes it's 4 Mickeys, but this card clogs your hand a lot through the mid-game. Like, you can never cast it. One jump ahead at 4, you can cast sometimes. Like, if you're at 7, you can, like, one jump ahead plus a 5. Right? But it's so rare that you're ever in a position to be able to do Mickey plus a thing, just because you're already at 1,000 ink at that point anyway. Like, yeah, at 8 or 9, you can do Mickey plus a thing. But that's so much to ask for a card to be double spelling. Like, there's worlds where you one jump ahead plus this, or you can sing it because that's a song as well. But obviously, if you cut Mickey, then there's less things that can sing it as well. It's just Smee, which is awkward because, you know, should we just be questing for 2 with this instead? Probably. You know. Which is why I like cards like Cerberus, because I don't care. This doesn't need to quest. You just bash. Or you sing, or whatever. It doesn't matter. It only quests for 1. Who cares? It's weird. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to make all these decks consistent enough. Especially with the amount of games that I've played on it. But I try. I try my best. That's all I can do. These feel okay. This is probably the only other card that is just, like, maybe cute. But it's kind of like the one of Tamatoa, right? Some spots, especially when you have Whole New World and, like, Flaversham and to some extent Gaston, like, you're drawing a lot of cards. And you're looking at a lot of cards. So sometimes just, like, the one of... like, this card is good. You know, they wipe your board, you play this and a bell, and, like, what do they answer? Either they have to wipe your board again, or, you know, you have to answer bell over the beast, and then you get to draw your extra card or whatever. I don't know. Maybe this card is just cope. But I don't think it's another crab. Like, it's literally just like a Benja. Or another Cerberus. Which, like, doesn't feel right to me either. It's like, I don't think it's 3 hard-headed because there's just not enough matchups where you need that much item removal. Like, Benja is better because this is more likely to double spell through the later turns, I guess. You're less likely to double spell with the Mickey than you are with the Benja, I guess. I mean, I am absolutely not sleeving up Mickeys for the tournament tomorrow. Or the Pooh, rather. Like, 0% of the time am I doing that. It might be something worth trying, but not in the tournament tomorrow. Like, I think it's dramatically worse in enough matchups that I just don't want to be running it. Like, this deck already can struggle sometimes against Steel Song. Like, if your Steel Song opponent doesn't let you ramp, you're gonna lose. And if you play on your turn 3 like a 2/3 and they just untap, kill it, which is very easy for them to do because they're playing 4 Zeus now and they're playing 4 strength. So, like, having 3 characters in play to just blast it, now you get no removal, or you get no ramp, and then you're going up to 4, which gives you either Bell or Flaversham, which is just not it. You need to be playing Cogsworth, or you need to be playing Cerberus or something that turn, so that you can set up for a Grab Your Sword or a Whole New World or whatever. You can't really afford to be, like, not doing that, basically. Like, sometimes it's just you cast Grab Your Sword. You ramp once and just cast Grab Your Sword, and it just kills 4 characters. And that's good enough. But literally being at 4 is so bad in this deck. I don't think you can play a ramp spell that isn't consistently always getting you to 5. unless you're in a more aggressive version of this deck. Like, maybe there's one that doesn't do dimes, and it's not doing, like, all the grab your sword stuff, and it's just playing a lower to the ground aggro version of this deck that's running, like, Poo and has some of these payoffs, like the Beast Hard-Headed and things like that. That might look different with something like Poo and whatever, where you're using it as just, like, the 2/3 2-lore character that also sometimes ramps. Like, you don't need the ramp as much then. That, I think, is probably more real of a line where you, like, you know, do Smee into Poo into you know, a Flaversham or something, some of the other 4s that quest for 2, and then, like, you're being aggressive that way. That, I think, has some range, perhaps, but I don't think for this deck. I think you need to guarantee that you're getting that extra card. So I'm going to play one more, and then we'll double check our stats, and then we'll probably call it for the day so that I can sleep a little bit for tomorrow. I'm pretty set on this deck, but I will peepers around a little bit before I submit, just to see if there's any other interesting technology that anybody has come up with that I'd want to integrate in there instead of the Beast. But so far I have not seen anything that really jumps out at me as, like, so much better, you know? Okay, so I go first. Currently don't have a 1-drop. We are against Steel Song, so we want to keep that. We'll get rid of these, and that's probably actually fine. We can actually keep the Tamatoa for ink. We might want the Rise of the Titans later. Yeah, this is a good hand. So let's get rid of Tamatoa. We'll play the Popsicle. We'll draw and pass. I don't really need the Captain Hook in this matchup. You'd think it would be good, but it really just enables them to have like the spells that can kill it, which really suck. I don't hate the Captain Hook in this matchup. It just, like, Raging can kill it, and that's, like, miserable. What I want to do is just play this Cogsworth on 4 on the play, and then that's probably good enough. I don't actually care if they take this Whole New World. That's fine. I didn't really want it anyway, if I'm honest. So I'm just going to play this Mickey. I can quest with Smee and then pass. The reason I'm questing with Smee here is if they decided to shift Robin and attack the Smee, I think that's fine. Like, that doesn't really help them in this spot. It is a good play for them to do, but it's not as big of a problem for me. The only thing that it can do that's a problem is they can draw 3 cards with it. Like, that would be unfortunate. So, like, Robin is kind of awkward, or Rapunzel, but I don't really want to let it go here either, so... Like, I'm considering inking Let It Go, just to play the Cogsworth here, and then questing. So, one of the things that we now have access to is we can play Flaversham, get rid of the Popsicle, and then... Yeah, basically, yes, that is what I was trying to work towards, and I'm getting tired. Is I would rather them kill that than whole new world here so that I can put the cogs down. Because now if they whole new world, I don't care. I'll just keep playing Cogsworths, and then we'll win eventually with Cogsworths. And I don't really want to ramp them for 2 off of this shift, because that's, like, not good for me. I do have a line where I can Mickey here, and then grab your sword. I actually don't hate that. Let's do the Flavershem first. And we'll see what we draw. Maybe we do something else. I don't think I do anything else. I actually like that a lot then. With this draw. I don't think I play the Popsicle. I think I ink the Smee. I think I play the Smee. We do this. And then I just sing here. And then I pass. And then we have a pretty big board with a Cogsworth to protect it. It's going to be unlikely that they can kill the Cogsworth this turn. And I don't care if they whole new world me. Because this also just dies for free to a Tinkerbell now. So this feels pretty good to me. They can Zeus and kill the Smee, sure. See, this is a prime example of why I think Sad Beast is really awkward now. Obviously, we have the Cogsworth in play. Sad Beast would have been fine there. But Sad Beast also cost 5. Like, there was never a spot when we could reasonably have cast it there where I felt super good about it, right? So let's just Flavershem, draw some cards. We can Flavershem and draw more cards. I kind of want to get this Quill down. So this is 3... We don't actually need to Flavershem again. I could just play the Quill. I can ink. Well, we can... Well, yeah, we already did it. Whatever, that's fine. We do this. We'll play another Popsicle. We don't actually have to whole new world here at all. I think we just ink here and pass. We're going to keep the Flavershem in our hand. We may just get rid of the whole new world. Obviously, we'll see what our opponent is playing, but... Like, we don't necessarily need a whole new world in this spot at all. We'll make them do it. They'll kill the Mickey with their... Let the Storm Rage on, sure. This could be a world where we actually do... Or we're actually getting into the point of wanting to whole new world, but I still think we have... Because we have this Cogs, like we can... sorry, this Flavershem. We can draw a few more cards before we need to really commit to it. Get a little bit higher on the ink. We could have killed the Ariel here as well, but it doesn't really matter that much. I'm also going to play another Quill, and just like Turbo Ink. And then a whole new world. But like, I don't need to do that. I can just do this, play this, draw 2 more cards. Yeah, I don't even think I need to. What if I just do this, and then... And then we do this. I'm considering just grabbing your sword here, unironically. They just concede. Okay, that's fine. I was playing pretty slow, so my brain is kind of dead. But like, I think we just grab your sword there, and we make it so that they have literally, like, the ability to do one thing. Right, because it kills the Ariel. And then the only option that they have there is, assuming that they have whole new world, they may or may not. Like, they can either deal with the bell, or they can, like, try to deal with the cogs that turn, and then I just go to, like, 17 or something. I want to reopen Pixelborn just so we can refresh the stats, make sure that my numbers are right. They should be. Yeah, so we're 13-4, which makes sense because I was like 4-1 before. So yeah, we climbed a little bit. We didn't play a ton of games. You know, we talked about the deck a lot. I haven't really been on that long. I think the deck feels pretty good overall. I've been quite happy with it. We should be able to climb with this pretty easily, and it just depends on how this will play out in the tournament, you know? Like, I don't know if Beast is even better than a Let It Go. Maybe we want the 4th Let It Go. I'm not really sure. I think I'm just going to run it as is, and then just be wrong all day about the Beast. Not being a Benja, or not being a hard-headed, or another hard-headed. And I think I'm okay with that. I don't think more than 2 Rise the Titans makes sense. Yeah, we haven't navigated the mirror very well in a few spots. I think I need to try to race more in some of those games, and that'll improve us a little bit. I have no problems beating red-purple with this list, by the way. I don't think red-purple is really a problem, so if we fight it a lot tomorrow, I think I'm pretty okay with that. Bell is generally very good in that matchup. Like, you Whole New World, and then a lot of their card draw just doesn't matter, and then you drop a couple of Bells, run them out of Be Prepareds, and then they lose. Dime is also, like, unwinnable for them. You just play Dime, and then play a Bell, Dime again, Dime again. Like, they just have to try and race, so as long as you're playing like your Smees and your early anti-aggression stuff, you end up being okay. So, yeah, I don't know. I think this is what I'm going to run. Unless I get a really wild hair about something, I won't submit the deck right away. I'll think about it a little bit more if I want to up some of these numbers or shift them around. But I feel like this package is okay. I'm pretty happy with where this is at. This is good. Like, these numbers I think I'm okay on. I like at least 2 hard-headeds. This 2 Rise of the Titans is a good number. Like, I think these are a good number. The Smees and the Captain Hooks I think are all good. And I feel like this slot, like this sort of Benja, Cerberus, Sad Beast slot, like, I'm not unhappy with, so that's probably good enough. Because like, every time I've seen Benja, it was like, okay. But it didn't feel insane. Though I have lost more blue-gray matchups just to an opponent playing a Benja, killing like a Popsicle, and then just using it as an early aggression card. Just beating down with it in the same way that you beat down with Smee. So that's maybe the nod to Benja there. So you just shave this for the Benja so that you have more potential early aggro to just push lore. Because this is, at its heart, sort of an aggro combo deck, you know, where you're getting big mana to put a bunch of things in play, but then you're using some of these early aggro cards out of Smee or Benja to sort of put a little bit more lore on the table, so that when you get to the point of playing Bell or Gastons, that they're getting them to the point of just being dimed to death already. But, I don't know, pretty good. I will put this up on YouTube if you miss anything. And then I will see everybody in the morning for the 2K on, it'll be on Pixelborn here, so will be kind of be the same spot, and then we'll do our best. I think they're doing best of 2 tomorrow, so we'll see how that plays out. You know, if we can smash matchups enough that we get a lot of 2-0s, that'll be good for us to, make it to day 2 at least. So we'll see. We'll do our best. That's all I can do. I don't imagine that anybody else is even on. It's pretty fucking late, but we'll see. Following categories, it is just me. So I will just call it. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see everybody next time.